a little bit more than me. I've been busy with real life stuff lately, so might have a job Monday. Maybe we'll see.
That'd be cool.
I have like a semi job offer. They basically told me, "Hey, if we like you, we'll call you Monday,
Right?
and then you'll come work for us." Basically, what they said. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So let's start things off with what are you guys doing in game right now? What are you guys up to?
Rap, go.
On my way to Wintertide.
You're
Yuck.
doing the winter thought.
I am.
Yuck. I'm
about
about
you,
to grab
Chase?
a new Slayer task. Hopefully something catacombable, because I just want totem pieces. And fishing monks on my iron.
And I am just wood cutting on the Iron Man. I'm cutting teaks for the eventual 99 construction.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it is
Wintertide is
disgusting.
worse.
I'm
You're
pretty
not
sure.
wrong.
Winter thought is copyright. Shit, we're in trouble.
Aw.
That's how we offended the people who hold the copyrights to Winter thought.
Fuck them. Speaking of
Yep.
offended, I want to start this episode off right and say that dear Atoka, you guys may have seen Atoka around. Probably not. I think he hangs out in the CC sometimes. It's
Mhm.
Atoka with a D at the end because it's just the name Dakota backwards.
Okay.
Fuck you. All right, we can move on. You're stupid. All right, no, I'm good.
What did
Is
he
that
do?
the guy that like rage quit the Discord?
Yes. Okay, so
What did he do?
He was all right. He was a viewer. He was a follower of mine. I gave him the Discord like ages ago, weeks and weeks ago, and he was posting some stuff in the NSFW channel, which I found very questionable. Like, could be offensive to a lot of people, and I felt like he was crossing a line. So all I did was write a message in the Discord that said, "Hey, I feel like some of your posts have been crossing the line. Just tone it back." And I checked the Discord later that day, and it literally said something like, "What do you mean I'm crossing the line? What do you mean like a lot of the things in here are just as bad. I'm out of here." And he literally left my Discord because I told him to stop posting offensive shit in the Not Safe for Work channel.
I
Really,
mean,
bro, can you
to
chill
be
out? He's like,
fair,
no.
he had a point.
No, he didn't though, because I deleted the most recent post that made me say that, so you probably didn't see it.
I don't know what he posted, but like
It was
in
horrible.
reference to like what he was saying about people who posted worse shit, like T-God has something in here with like a baby with a dick in its mouth.
It was a comic
Like-
though. He was posting real stuff.
Yeah, like he's got a scat video in here, which is odd. I don't know. Like
It was a scat
Yeah,
video.
I saw some
Yeah.
of the stuff that people were posting in there, and I was just like, nah, I'm not
It
gonna
was
click any of that.
It was a scat video followed by a post that was like, "When she jerking you off under the table" or whatever, and it had
that I did see.
the kid. It was like a mentally handicapped person in a wheelchair making this crazy face,
Yeah.
and the woman's arm was like off screen where his crotch might be. Like that's offensive. And I was like, you know what, that's too much. And instead of being like, okay, I'll post normal Not Safe for Work stuff, he was like, fuck this, you censoring me, you ass, and he just left. Like
He's like, I've got rights.
like
You're
that was so important to him. I was like, all
Yeah, I
right.
don't know. Like rage quitting a
Yeah.
porn channel.
I was like-
that's a bit much.
All right, it's like, well, now you just told everybody that you're a fucking moron. Have fun posting weird shit in someone else's Discord, I guess.
I mean, like, I guess it's like one thing if it's, you know, like go post it on 4chan. Like, they don't give a shit.
Triggered.
That's probably where he found it, anyways.
Oh my god.
All right, so what do we want to start with? Let's start with the update. Let's start with that.
Okay.
All right, so Wilderness Slayer is the thing.
Yep.
We got that witch Christilla. I think it's kind of cool they decided to do something with this witch. She's been in that jail cell for a really long time, just for like
I didn't
no
even know
reason.
she existed.
I didn't.
Yeah,
either.
she's just been an NPC that's there for a long time.
Yeah.
I thought
I
she was a new NPC.
No, you have to talk to her for like a clue step, I think, or something. Or there was something that involved her. For some reason, I knew she
She
existed
was-
in the game.
Yeah, she goddamn it, what was it? She already served like one specific function.
Yeah, she was there for like one thing in the game. Oh no, I think it's Edgeville spawn. You buy the
Yes,
Edgeville
yep,
spawn.
that's
from her.
it.
Yeah, that's what it is. You buy the Edgeville spawn from
So
her.
you might talk to her once ever before the update.
Yeah, I don't know. She's been there a long time though. So they decided to make her the Slayer Master, which I thought was kind of cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Have either of you tried Wilderness Slayer yet?
I've not, but I watched some people streaming it.
Okay.
I haven't. No.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Do you guys
Like,
see
I
the
was-
video with Sick Nerd when he was doing the Wilderness Slayer?
No.
All right, he had Ice Warriors as his task, I think, and like some dude was like trying to Brit him. He gets frozen one step away from walking into the portal. Like he's activated the portal, and he's one step from walking into the teleporter.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who's Britting him like runs around like the pillar to range him. Guy like the auto run on the range makes him run around the pillar, and the guy did teleported away. It was so funny. It's just like, yep, get fucked. Yeah, Scorch has got it in the chat. Check that out.
One
That
thing
is
I
funny.
have seen though was like, all right, so this guy had an inst task, and this little noob dude just walks up to him. He's like, "Hey,
I've
dude,
seen this.
Wilderness Slayer is awesome, right? Like, I love this shit."
That was wiggled. That was wiggled.
yeah, and the guy just he busts out D-Claws and just specs him out. drops
Yeah,
him
the guy's just like
immediately.
talking to him about how much he likes Wilderness Slayer, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." D-Claws rushes him, just 2 specs gone.
Yep,
Oh, that poor guy.
I laughed.
He took his combat bracelet. It was savage. I watched it happen. No, there's been some very, very funny clips due to Wilderness Slayer. Is there an odd shot for that? No, it was like a Twitter thing. I'm pretty sure.
I can find it.
Right. So none of us have actually tried it. I don't know if I will be doing it unless I need points, because it seems really awesome for points, right?
It is.
It seems very, very good for points. I watched some people doing it, and it looks awesome if you need points. So, I mean,
He puts a
like,
smiley face and everything.
yeah, the poor guy's being he's being so nice. He gets savaged. Right. So, I don't know. Do you guys ever see yourself doing Wilderness Slayer?
Yes, when I need to camp for the Wildy boss pets.
Yeah, I mean, because you might as well get the XP, and you get
I get like the
emblems as
bear's
well.
task, a scorpion's task, or whatever.
Yeah,
Might be
I
worth
mean,
trying.
you get that Slayer XP, and also you get what you get, like the chains of the Slayer staff thing, the Slayer
Mhm.
staff upgrade.
Right. I've heard it's very common, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The scrolls go for like 200k. They're not expensive.
The interesting part about it is like it gives full XP when you cast a Slayer dart, so it's actually a decent way to train mage with like close DPS to Trident. It's not as good, but actually, I mean, attacks at 6 ticks, Trident attacks at 5 ticks, so it's like not even in the ballpark.
Yeah.
But you get full XP from it, so it's like when you go to Barrows as an Iron Man, you're using Ivan's Blast usually when you start doing that, so you get a lot of mage XP. I think a lot of people would be surprised by how much experience you can get by using this on task. So if you're kind of like a lower level Slayer, it might be pretty beneficial actually to use this for some of your tasks. It might make kind of like, you know, you get Steel and Iron Dragons kind of early on when you don't really have a lot of points to skip. I don't know. Another cool thing about the Wilderness Slayer Master, we should probably talk about that in relation to like skip tasks and stuff like that. There are no requirements to use the Wilderness Slayer Master.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
None at all. So you get 25 points a task with no requirements. That's kind of awesome for like low level Slayer.
However, the tasks do not take into effect your combat level, so you can get like Vedian immediately
Hmm.
at
Yeah.
any level. Doesn't matter.
Then you
So
go to Turiel.
if you get lucky with like scorpions or something, it's actually really good. If you get, something you can't kill, you're kind of boned.
Yeah, so if you're just starting and you get Vedion, you either go to Turiel or you have no points to skip to begin with because you're just starting and then you just make a new account.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the lower level Slayer Masters don't give you any points, so
They don't,
It's
no.
actually probably a good idea to just start using the Wilderness Slayer Master right away. I would think if you're like a lower level account.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, because like 25 points a task is no joke, not at all. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
I watched a friend's video today that he made with the Slayer staff, and he was doing a couple tasks. And his the first one that he did was a scorpion task. It was like 80 scorpions, and he went to Scorpia's lair, but not to kill Scorpia, to kill like all of her spawns, like all the mini scorpions. He brought a blowpipe,
Oh.
and he did the entire task in like a minute and 30 seconds.
I didn't even
Damn.
think of that.
Yeah,
It's
so he
not
blew
bad.
through it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually a smart tactic.
Yeah.
I think we'll see some interesting things come out of Wilderness Slayer, and hopefully there will continue to be a lot of hilarious clips. That's what I want to see more than anything. You know, those declaw rushes when we were on task and stuff like that.
You wonder if
Those are
wilderness
just too
PK
funny.
will increase now? Oh, it certainly will. It already has.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're just putting a lot more people in the wilderness.
Go to Anna Carl right now. You'll
Oh my
you'll
god,
see.
no. God, oh, this is like the worst time for me to want to do Callisto because I still need the crush ring. God, it's probably gonna be terrible to go to Callisto now. It's probably gonna be so busy, even on the 2K world. It used to be pretty reasonable. You go on the 2K world, kind of early in the morning, kind of late at night.
You can't really
might
play on
see a
2K
couple
Worlds now anyway.
PKers.
2K Worlds are
Yeah,
trash.
They're awful. Actually, are you guys having problems with the US worlds? Maybe that's just me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. That started like 4
Okay, you
days
guys
ago.
are too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got horrible.
all the
all
US
of a
worlds are
sudden.
garbage right now.
They for so long, especially during the attacks, they were the best worlds to use. Now all of a sudden they're so bad, all of them. It's really
Yeah.
weird.
Well, before what was going on, at least for me, it was like location based. Like if I VPN to Canada or Europe or somewhere like that,
Hmm.
I could connect just fine. Even VPNing to the East Coast worked for me. Now I'm pretty sure it's just like everyone in the US is having connectivity issues. I haven't really talked to anyone from the US that isn't.
Hmm. Yeah, and it was very sudden because I mean I play every day, and while Shane was here, like all of a sudden it started getting bad. Pretty sure he sabotaged it.
Yeah, so right now, like if you're living in the US, you have to connect to UK worlds. Like none of the US worlds really work. And I don't know if it's because they're being attacked or I don't know what the deal is. I assume they're probably being attacked, similar to like what it was last time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, what it was last time is they weren't actually attacking the actual servers. They were attacking like the infrastructure surrounding it. So you had problems connecting to the server. You couldn't. There was no connectivity, right? So it might just be the same attack. I don't know. It kind of sucks that you know they can't fix these exploits easily, but at least you can still play the game, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
All that matters. Right. So we're gonna move on from the Wilderness Slayer stuff. We're all fairly excited about that, even though you know we're not gonna use it right now.
Yeah, eventually it'd be cool. Helpful.
So Slayer point bonuses. So we got the
Yep.
Slayer point bonuses for every 100th, 250th, and 1000th task. So it's 25 times points, 35 times points, and then 50 times points. So have you guys hit any of these milestones yet?
I don't think so.
I haven't done anything on the game really since I wasn't here yesterday. I was away.
Yeah, you
whenever
were at
the
a
update went
convention,
through.
weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
How was that?
Weird.
Would
At a
not
nerd
recommend.
convention.
It
Is that
was.
how
I
you
went
picked
to the
your
Star
hat?
Wars celebration. It is where I got the hat.
Yeah,
I almost didn't.
is that the Empire?
It is the Rebel.
Rebels.
Oh, that's the Rebel one.
The
Okay.
Rebel logo. Yeah. I like it.
Oh, yeah, isn't the Empire like the little like star looking thing?
Yeah, kind of. It's like a circle with like it's weird.
It looks kind of like an asterisk, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
That's basically what it is, like a red asterisk.
Yeah, what's up, Wes? How you doing, man?
Hi, Wes.
Yeah, what I've been up to is I've been up to a lot of guitar stuff here. My microphone's in the way, but I got my electric guitar fixed and I got strings for my acoustic and everything. So I've been playing guitar again
Proud.
instead of playing a lot of RuneScape. So just looking for jobs and picking up the guitar again. My fingers hurt like a motherfucker though. I haven't played guitar in like 2 years, and I just picked it up again. And damn, dude, my fingers are killing me. That's the one thing you don't keep after like everything else I kind of like kept. Like, you know, I'm still decently good at technique. I can still play a lot of songs that I remember. But you lose the fingers, man. That part hurts. So maybe in another month my fingers will be built up again. And I'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, those finger biceps.
Yeah, and you were hanging out with Shane. I assume you
Mhm.
probably played a lot of RuneScape, but
Yeah, I mean, I definitely played a lot less than I normally would have. Yeah, a lot of the time we would hang out with some of my other real life friends and go do stuff during the days or during the evenings, or even play some other games. But yeah, I played a fair amount of RuneScape. He definitely
play all the Mario Kart.
I mean, I don't actually have. Actually, no, I do have. I have Mario Kart 8, I think, for the Wii U, which is not hooked up right now. But trying to think of what else.
It's
I
like
played some
party games
GTA.
you have to own.
Yeah.
Smash and Mario Kart.
I don't have Smash. I wish I did.
How do you not have Smash?
I just haven't enjoyed them as
Actually,
much since
my
Melee.
sister My sister has got my GameCube still with my copy of Melee.
Yeah, Melee was the best one. I haven't liked the new ones nearly as much, so I don't really care to spend money on the new ones. That's all. But
Well, she hijacked my GameCube to play Wind Waker and
Mm-hmm.
Twilight Princess because she's a huge Zelda nerd, right? So she's got my GameCube to play those games, and on the condition of when she's done with it, I get it back and I get to borrow her games because those are her games, not my games,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to play them. But it's been like 2 years and she still hasn't. She probably just thinks it's hers now. It's like, nah, I paid for that. Gonna give it back one day.
So no, Shane and I were more social than anything. We definitely didn't play that much RuneScape. Like he did occasionally play on my laptop when I was sitting here on my desktop. And actually, we did something interesting. We went over to my friend's house on Tuesday night in place of the concert. Like I said, that fell through, so we went over to my friend Alex's house and we grilled up some burgers. And this is actually the guy that I reconnected with through Rig's stream from tennis camp in middle school. That was the first time hanging out with him since I was like.
How was that?
It was really fun, actually. It was really cool. Yeah, we just hung out.
Still gonna tease you about tennis camp for like forever.
That's fine. I'm white enough. I fit the bill.
You went to tennis camp.
I was 13 years old. What's the big deal?
I went to band
tennis
camp.
You went to band camp twice. Okay, I went to tennis camp twice. But yeah, that was really cool. We went over there. I got a tour of his apartment and we grilled up some burgers. He went and bought the grill that day, like rented a U-Haul, brought the grill home that day. So it was a brand new grill. Had some good food. We met his roommate, who's his roommate's actually a former professional racing game player. He has been flown out to like multiple tournaments throughout his life, and he also like lived in the same area I went to college in. So we talked for a while. It was actually really cool. And then we ended up playing some PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on Alex's desktop. Pretty cool.
Yeah, how is that game? I've seen it's like been a top seller on Steam or whatever, and a lot of people are playing it. But is it good?
Yeah, it is good. I think it's very popular because it is like H1 but better. Like it's not as terrible, and people don't really feel like the game's constantly broken.
Dude, H1's a hacky fucking mess.
Right.
I remember before H1 turned into like this, what it is now. It was something totally different. It was like trying to rip off Daisy. It was really bad. Like people hated it. People like were like asking for refunds. They're like, this is the worst game ever. It's garbage.
Yeah.
And it was actually one of the big reasons people really disliked like the Steam, indie greenlight shit, right? It was one of the big reasons. Now like people are like, oh yeah, I love H1. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean,
super weird.
You always hear that it's getting better, but yeah, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds I think is a better game from the ground up, which is helpful. I had never played it before.
It's what it was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just
it's not 2 parts of like
game.
Yeah. But no, it was fun. I got fucking wrecked every time I tried to play, but it was alright. It's not my kind of game. I feel like I don't like the formula of the game for playing it because it's very like you spend X amount of time scouting for items, and then you just get blown away, you get frustrated, then you try again.
It's like the opposite of COD, right? Like COD's like you get in there, you get in the action, you have a good time, it's real fast paced. This one's like you get like 5 minutes of like the fast paced action with like 15 minutes of bullshit added on, right?
Yeah, it's the kind of game I like watching people play, but it's not for me.
Yeah. I was the same one with Daisy. I bought Daisy and installed not the standalone, but back when it was Arma 3 and get the mod.
I did that too.
Like, right? Because I watched it on streams and it was awesome on streams, right? It was super cool and it was really tense. Playing it myself and I'm just like, dude, I'm just like dicking off in the middle of nowhere, like trying to run from these zombies with super fucked up AI. And then somebody just caps you from 3 miles away because you got a little bit too close to the airfield or something.
Yeah, I spent a week trying to get that fucking mod to run on my old ass laptop, and after a week I realized, oh, that wasn't really worth the time spent making it work.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, you're right. It wasn't Arma 2. I said Arma 3, didn't I? Yeah, it was on the Arma 2, and you had to have the DLC too, which the DLC cost a little bit extra. Because it used all these assets from the DLC.
And now I still have it on my Steam. I've never actually played it properly.
I don't know, but
anyway, we got a topic
I don't know
here.
if Daisy standalone is ever going anywhere. That game's been in development hell for like forever. It seems like.
It's been in the alpha for like 5 years now.
Yeah, that is the definition of development hell to me. The game's just like never gonna get released fully. I don't think.
I doubt it.
I don't know. Somebody needs to like. What is that guy's name? Rocket Two Guns. Somebody needs to give him a kick in the ass and just be like, "Hey, dude, put out your fucking game. Like, come on." I don't know. I haven't played it recently, so I'm not super intricate on the Daisy standalone. I'm just laughing about the fact that it's still not released. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how Minecraft was in beta for like 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Minecraft was a fun ass game though. If you don't think Minecraft is fun, you're wrong.
You're just not creative at that point.
Yeah.
Minecraft's
sorry,
like
you can only make
Minecraft's
rectangles.
Like handing somebody the biggest ass bag of Legos you can imagine and be like, "Here, have fun with this." If you can't have fun with it, it's your fault.
Yeah. It's a creativity tool.
All right, so let's get back to RuneScape.
Wait, we were talking about RuneScape?
We were talking about
Wait,
Shane.
this is about RuneScape? Yeah, we were talking about Shane. Shane's on a bus ride home now, isn't he?
Yes.
No,
Good
no.
nerd.
We won't have like the long-haired brown Jesus blessing our stream today.
Unfortunately not.
No. His hair is amazing.
It is.
Was he like on your stream at like so
He was on my stream
about
like
his hair?
Yeah, he was on my stream like every day this week, and he got so many compliments. The word luscious was probably like, if you made a word cloud for my last week's streams, that'd be like the biggest word.
I hope there's an app that will do that, because we have like the replays of chat, right, for the past broadcasts.
Yeah.
If that's not an app, somebody needs to make it, because that sounds cool as fuck.
Yep.
You could just take word clouds of your stream. I don't know. Mine would probably be like, "I'm an iron."
The word
like
iron
that.
would be the biggest one.
Or exclamation mark today, or something like that. One of the big commands. That would be cool. If one of you guys out there interested in doing a coding project, that would be a cool one, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk down here at the bottom of the updates. The RuneScape documentary. Do we want to talk about that for a bit?
Sure.
Sure.
All
was
right, cool.
good.
What did you get? Well, first, what did you guys think of it? Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I have not watched it yet. I got
Really?
the too long didn't watch version from Rob this morning.
Huh.
I have watched a lot of the previous stuff about how they talked about like the making of RuneScape like that, because they used to have these interviews with back on their YouTube channel. They had like interviews with Paul Gower, Andrew Gower,
Yeah.
Ian Gower. So I watched a lot of that stuff, and Rob said it was a lot of the similar thing, but I'm pretty excited to watch it myself. Don't spoil it. No, I'm just kidding.
It's about RuneScape.
It's
You
about
didn't know?
RuneScape.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, really?
Yeah.
I did hear that
Don't
they
say.
didn't talk about old school that much.
Bingo. They
Not
kind
a
of
lot,
they
yeah.
kind of breezed over the fact that old school, quote unquote, saved them. Like it didn't save them. Like they weren't dead. They weren't like dying as a company. But there's a huge upswing in membership and people playing the game.
I feel like a lot more people are playing both versions of the game
Yeah.
because old school.
Yeah.
because
And
how big old school was on Twitch.
they talked about how old school was a good thing. People loved it. Or like they really wanted it. And they showed like an infographic that showed where old school came in, and then like another big upswing in their membership numbers. But they don't really like say, hey, this is what kind of helped us get back to where we wanted to be. They don't say, hey, thanks old school community. They don't credit content creators. They don't do anything. Like they don't talk about the presence. Yeah, I thought that was kind of an oversight. And there were a couple other oversights if you'd like to get into that. Like you
Oh,
said,
yeah,
no
go for it.
spoilers, but here's
I'm
here's a
totally
spoiler
joking about that.
for you, Nigel. You're not going to be able to understand a word that Mrs. Gower says.
Okay.
Her son
But
Paul
yeah, I
takes
heard
after
the
her.
audio. The audio is really messed up.
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe with it, was the audio. And having done a shitload of video editing myself, which includes audio most of the time, I could have done it better. Like I could have.
Yeah.
It's not hard to put on
Who do
some
you think
headphones.
they got to edit it?
I
Do you think they
don't
made
know.
Chris Archie do it?
The video portion of
I
it
bet
was
they made
fine.
Archie do it.
The video portion was done well. The audio was shit, and it wasn't shit for like the whole thing. But it doesn't matter what you're using to play it, speakers, headphones, whatever. You'll notice that the parts are not equalized at all. The announcer's voice is louder than every interview portion. and certain people who are being interviewed are quieter than everybody else being interviewed because they're just quieter people. But the person who was doing the audio editing didn't bump them up, which he should have
What
done.
they needed to do was they needed to take the whole audio track and just put a compressor on it. That's all they
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
do.
exactly.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
Like, if you've done any work with audio, you know, like, oh, some people are too quiet, some people are too loud.
Mhm.
You know how you fix that? You just put a compressor on it. It fixes all of that.
Yeah.
No problem. I do that to every single YouTube video I put out. If you guys make YouTube videos or you're thinking about making YouTube videos, just know, put a compressor on your audio channel. That's all you have to do. It'll sound great.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah, so the audio was, I think, probably the worst part of the documentary. And the fact that I didn't credit old school enough, I think, was a little bit frustrating for us old school people. But overall, the documentary was really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
Very
I mean,
interesting.
it could just be a thing where, like, they started the filming and ended the filming maybe even like a year ago, you know, or
yeah,
more.
that's definitely possible because it's called 15 Years of Adventure. It's been 16 years now.
Yeah, it's 16 years at this point. I think they just took a long time to finish it. I think that's probably why there was less mention.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, was like Kieran or any of like kind of like the slightly newer guys on it?
Barely, if
Was
at
it,
all.
like,
I don't
was,
think
like,
I saw
Rock
him.
there?
No.
Yeah, so probably a lot
No.
of the footage was actually probably shot well before the 15-year mark, and they've just taken a long time to get around to editing it and finishing the editing and stuff.
Oh, I'm
Mod-
sure. Whenever
Mod Ash
Bodie was
will,
interviewed.
Oh yeah, he looked younger.
Oh hell yeah! This was before I even started streaming. I remember watching it happen,
Oh,
like as he was streaming for it.
it was probably
like,
whenever
just-
he was in the studio for that Q&A, because that was the same shirt he was wearing, right? I think is what it was. Because he had been on a Q&A like 2 years back.
I don't even know. Like I don't remember that, but like there was. Now that you mention it, like they didn't even use the footage for it, but they came to his house
Mhm.
and he just streamed for like an hour and like talked to them about it and like talked about the community and everything and like how it's such a great one and how he's like really
Oh.
thankful for old school and everything. And none of that made it into it,
Oh,
actually.
it fucking sucks.
Yeah. I remember watching that.
You know what's funny though? Here's a spoiler for you, Nigel. Young Ash will make you moist.
Oh hell
I've
yeah.
seen the memes. I've seen
Yeah.
the memes all over Reddit.
Oh, so you've
He's
already
like
been moistened.
he's got, like, the jacket, and it's like
Yeah, he's got
over
like the
here.
little the scarf or
He
whatever
looks
that is.
flying, dude.
He does.
He looks flying.
He could get it.
I'm just like, you heard the story about how he got hired at Jagex, right?
No.
He was like chilling in a pub. And,
I forget.
I think he ended up talking to one of the Gower brothers or something, and he was like, he was talking about their company that they just started or whatever, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I think I'd like that,
Mhm.
and they was like, all right, we'll hire you.
Yeah.
You know? I think his looks may have had something to do with it. What do you guys?
Could be. Could be.
I don't know how
Not
are
a
the
pussy
are the
slayer.
Gowers like notoriously shallow? Because I could definitely see that if so.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think the other thing that
Um,
was artistically wrong with the documentary was the person who was filming should have known better than to take any shots of Andrew Gower's profile, because from the side he don't look so good. He has a very weak chin, and like the side shots of him are just like really, really unflattering. And I think that they should have known better than to include that, considering he's like he was the driving force behind the game's existence, and you want to show him as like a person of importance, and they kind of like undermined him in a couple of those shots.
Yeah.
Leafy.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, it's like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got the weak chin. Understandable. Yeah. It's just one of those things that's like when you if you're not like an experienced videographer, like you might not think of that.
Yeah, I don't see how it was in production for so long with so many eyes on it, and there were these things that just kind of went overlooked.
What's up?
Ashton, we're podcasting.
We're
Ashton,
podcasting. One second, I gotta get her backpack off the bed real quick.
Ashton,
She's all like dressed up. She looks really nice. You look beautiful.
So unprofessional.
Ashton, you look nice, but we're podcasting.
No, that's fine. One second.
So, what's going on, guys?
Not much, man. Doing the Todd.
Ew.
You indeed, friend.
I found a pretty decent, mostly open Veld's World and Catacombs, but it has since been taken over by noobs that I hate.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was bound to happen. Good things only last so long. So anyway, but the bottom line is definitely, if you haven't watched the RuneScape documentary, do do spend the time to watch it. It's worth it.
It's definitely worth it. It gave me an appreciation I
Yes.
previously
Unflattering side
didn't
shots.
have.
Yeah, I actually rewatched it yesterday, and Kristen, my girlfriend, watched the entire thing. She doesn't even play RuneScape. It was really interesting. And if you like RuneScape, it's just that much better. The origin story is very well done.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
And like getting some backstory and like to like certain things that happen in the game, like for example, the trade limit and them
Mhm.
taking away wilderness. As a kid, I never really understood that and why they did it. I just knew I didn't like the change. And so I kind of hated on them for that. Like now as an adult, seeing them explain it, like I easily see why they did it and how it was a good decision for them from their standpoint. And like I felt really, what's the word, like ignorant. I was just being a child basically.
Well, yeah, we were young, naive.
But yeah.
Oh, we're talking about the whole taking trade away thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and why they did it. Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah,
to,
I thought it
see
was
that.
interesting. I've heard that story a while back, that it was because creditors, like it was a credit issue.
Yeah,
Basically, they wouldn't have been able to keep the game running if they hadn't done that. I just think I think a lot of that had to do with just how young internet business was, and
Yeah.
the crediting industry, or I don't know what you'd call it. But they didn't really quite understand what was going on. Maybe they just knew that they were getting a ton of chargebacks.
You know who else is really difficult to hear sometimes, and that is MMG. You notice that, Rob? Mod MMG, the CEO.
yeah.
Bald guy. He's very, very soft-spoken. Like he sounds really like nice, and I don't know. He has a nice voice, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I just want to punch whoever edited it. Bothers me.
I didn't really notice that much.
Really?
Like I didn't care.
It's from
Nah, I
the whole
was-
editor's standpoint thing. Sometimes I will get triggered while watching a TV show or a movie that uses too many cuts in a certain amount of time. Like it's just one of those things that I pay attention to.
My favorite is like the inconsistent editing. We were watching like a movie, and there was like a scene where like the guy was shaving, right? And he had almost like all the shaving stuff was like off his face, and then they panned to another shot, and it was like all over his face
Mhm.
again.
The continuity is really
Yeah.
important.
Continuity errors make me laugh so hard. Yeah, that's stuff you may not notice unless you like maybe do some video editing yourself.
Mhm.
But it's always really funny when
What
stuff like
bothered
that
you
comes
is that
up.
he happily talked about EOC.
What, Mod MMG?
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, EOC was the right move for them for their game.
Yeah, with where the game was headed, you got to remember they had all sorts of stuff in the games. Like chaotics existed. They had already put summoning. Summoning was, I think, the big driving force.
Oh, it certainly was. It completely
Summoning
changed
changed the game
everything
so
going forward.
much.
Yeah.
I don't think
So, like-
Lamoni, I don't think the people who are being interviewed were hailing it as this great, amazing change. I think that they were pretty honest about one of them said you could go and ask, Mod Mark said you could go and ask people what they thought of it, and you'd get a 50-50 split. Like now, some people love it, some people hate it. Some people say, and his exact words were like, "I love it. It's the best update you ever did." And then the other 50% will say, "You ruined the game for me." Like they're pretty realistic about it. And Mod MMG, I don't remember even mentioning anything that sounded biased towards EOC. He literally just said, "EOC is something that we created, and we had 6 months of content prepared to release into the game that would use EOC, so they weren't just going to trash the update." And they also
Yeah.
said that the microtransactions, like, it was a necessary evil because they needed to keep their game afloat. And Mod MMG's words were, I think, really important. He said, people might not think it's important, but it was needed to support Jagex, and if Jagex isn't around, RuneScape's not around. It's as simple as that. And so
Yeah.
I don't think he was saying that, this is the best update ever, and if you don't like it, you're wrong. I think he was being very fair about it and just explaining the
At
way
the end
it
of
was.
the day, they're a business, and bigger studios than Jagex have went under. That's so the fact that they were able to keep their game running even through such an unpopular update, because not everybody liked DOC. Clearly, I think, like you said, about probably 50-50. Some players really liked it, some
Yeah.
players really disliked it, and it didn't help that the launch of EOC was really bad. The launch was shit. It was not balanced. It was totally fucked up on launch. So I don't know. I think they had to do what they had to do as a company, and we're just thankful we have old
They
school. At this
certainly
point,
did.
Right?
Like, yeah, I
I'm
am
just glad we have
thankful.
old school.
But like you got to keep in mind, like EOC was like they changed the game with it, and that's what they were trying to do. Like, take the
I
way
think that's what they
RuneScape
had
3
to
is
do.
now. Not a question of had or it's what happened. Let's take it
Yeah,
at face
yeah.
value. It happened, so let's get on with it. They had to. Because like you got to think at the time, like you have all these other massive MMOs that were coming out or that were been out and been successful, and they're more advanced in terms of the way they play, like World of Warcraft, Rift, Terra, all these things with like really intricate combat systems. And World of Warcraft had what, like a 15 million player base at $15 each. Like they tried to keep up with the competition and not fall behind. You got to see where they came from. Like, have you ever looked at Classic compared to just like old school, and then like Classic compared to
Classic.
RS3?
They're
They're massively different.
Oh yeah.
So like that, the split would be like you saying the switch between Classic and old school was like a bad thing. They're just upgrading to keep with the times, basically. And they both have their places, old school and EOC. Like EOC is
it's a more modern
game. Yeah, it's a proper MMO for the times of today.
The problem
You're
didn't
very
lie
hard
in
pressed to find one.
The problem didn't lie
That's
in
good.
what the game was. The problem lay in the fact that they turned a game that people had loved for many years, that functioned perfectly fine the way it was, into something that it really wasn't meant to be originally, to keep up. And the reasons are understandable, but the fact that they took something that had been working for a long time and fixed it, like the whole "don't fix what isn't broken" thing, that's exactly what they did, and it made people
Well,
mad.
the problem was, I think the game was pretty broken at that point.
I mean, it depends on how
But,
you
that's
define
just
broken,
because-
but it's like they
Yeah,
didn't
that's
make it
because
less
I look
broken.
at summoning.
They didn't
I
make
look
it less
at
broken,
summoning,
though.
and I think to myself, yeah, this totally screws the old school combat system.
Yeah,
It did. Summoning did. It completely broke it. The fact that like you had pack yaks and shit, and you can go and do like no problem, like 80 to 100 kill bando solos. That shit's retarded.
But they didn't unbreak it. They just built the game around
They
what had already been
built
broken.
everything up
Yeah.
to come in line with summoning.
Yeah, basically what
So
they
it's
had.
either-
I think what the purpose of EOC was to say, okay, the game has changed radically from when we designed it originally. Let's mold the game around that design, and that overhauls everything to do with combat. Hence, evolution of combat, right? And I think the initial launch was not good, but I think since then they've refined and polished it to a point where actually a lot of RS3 players say they really like it. And I know some players that have come to the game in recent years. They tried old school, they liked it, and then they said one day, hey, why don't I try this RS3 thing? And now they're just RS3 players. They don't even play old school anymore. So it's not like RS3 is bad. It's just really different.
It's really different.
now.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the
it's
problem
a
that a
very
lot of people had though, because a big percentage of people couldn't deal with it being not really RuneScape anymore. That's what bothers me about it. I've never claimed
Yeah,
that it was a bad
nostalgia
game.
factor's so huge.
Yeah,
You know,
when
if you
people
played
try
this
to
game as a
argue about
kid-
it in my chat and they try to call RS3 bad, I'm like, no, it's not a bad game. It's just different
It's just different.
from
It's a
RuneScape that we
different
knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think chat's kind of got a point there, which is like, to a lot of people, RS3 isn't RuneScape.
Yeah.
Because to them, RuneScape, there's all these memories, all this nostalgia attached. I don't know if you guys even played back in Classic.
I didn't play
Oh my
Classic.
god! Like back in Classic, there was some hilarious shit. Like back in Classic, they had this system called fatigue to prevent
Yes,
bots.
yeah,
It didn't
yeah.
prevent bots at all. It did not prevent bots. Let's get that straight. But basically, like when you were cutting a tree or fishing or mining or whatever, you would build up fatigue, and you had to use a sleeping bag in your inventory, and then enter a captcha
Mhm.
to start playing again, right? And the idea was you would get no experience if you were fatigued. So that's one of the worst game design concept I've ever heard. That's like
Yeah.
almost on par with you guys ever played Elder Scrolls Oblivion?
Mhm.
You can't level up unless you sleep in a bed. Like, come on. Like I got the experience, man. Let me level up. What the fuck?
Yeah, and that actually makes it all the more impressive because people still play Classic now, like a very small number of people, but like Jicklum,
Yeah.
I think he has like 699s on Classic, and that's still a mechanic in the game. Fatigue still
Yeah.
exists in Classic in its current state.
Yeah, no, they never patched it out.
No,
It was weird. Actually, I remember when RS2 released, they had like the system for converting your character over.
Mhm.
So like they wanted to get everyone off the classic servers, right? And just run the RS2 servers. So what they did was like they had this thing, they were like, convert your character to RS2. And once you reverted your character from one save game to the next one, that was it. You couldn't go back and play classic anymore. Eventually they re-released it so people could play on it because it was nostalgic and cool. But at that time, it was like a big decision. You're like, am I going to convert my character? Should I make a new one? Like some players did not want to get off classic. They're like, no, I'm just going to keep playing classic forever. I'm never switching to RS2. And there are people that didn't ever do that. Pretty crazy. And I think that's kind of the reason.
They actually talk about that in the documentary as well.
That was a decision I had to make as a young child. I said, I'm going to make a new character because I want to keep my classic account. Eventually, I just converted it anyways because I really liked RS2. But, I was like, I'm going to be one of those people, classic forever. And it turns out RS2 is really sweet. But I remember playing RS2 for the first time and just be like, this is so weird. This is super weird.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I played it. Yeah. It looked great though. It was amazing. Those were good times. Lots of nostalgia. I don't know what is like your guys' first memory of playing RS? Mine's definitely
first
fighting scorpions in Alcarid and dying to them because I was very low level. This was in classic, mind you.
My first memory was when I was told about it because I had a family friend's son told me about the game on Miniclip, and he was actually my brother's age, so he was like a few years younger than me. But I hung out with him whenever we'd like see that person's family, and he showed me him playing it at his house. So I made an account off of Miniclip, and the first thing I remember was doing the tutorial, and it took me fucking forever to get off the tutorial island, I think. Because I had, to that point, I had played games before, but I'd never played a game that was point-and-click driven. So just the act of moving around
super different.
Was rough for me at first. But I pretty much never stopped playing it fully after that point, and that was back in 04. So...
Oh my god, something that you didn't have back in RS2 back in the day, you didn't have middle-click mouse move for the camera.
Yeah, it was just the
arrows.
Keys. Yeah.
You had just the arrow keys.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone remember that?
Yes, and old school.
God, that bothered me.
I played day one of old school. When old school came out, there was no middle click to move the camera.
Yeah,
either.
they didn't have it then either.
The middle mouse
because
button.
It's like an engine.
It was an engine feature, and they got it in relatively quickly into old school, and it was wonderful when they did.
I never knew that existed until I started playing old school. I had always moved with arrow keys.
Gross.
Yeah, I mean, like that's how you had to back in the day. There was no choice.
So I don't have
how it worked.
I don't have too many other like memories of the very beginning of me playing RuneScape, but the one thing I do remember is when I first convinced my parents to get membership for me, because I was free to play for all of 1 or 2 months, because I really wanted to try membership because my friend who introduced me to it had membership, and the first thing I did was
I remember convincing my parents that I needed the membership.
Yeah.
Yep. Me too.
It didn't take me long to convince them, but the first thing I did was I went and met up with him in a member world. For some reason, we were in the Barbarian Village, and he let me try out his G-Maul, and I was like main-handing a G-Maul, killing barbarians in the village.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. Like you said actually earlier. My first memory of actually playing the game was the Scorpions thing, but I found out about it I was at a friend's house. He was a little bit older, and he was just playing it. Like we said, that's also how I learned about Battlefield 1942 and other games like that. But he was just playing it at his computer, and I was like, "When the heck is this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's RuneScape. It's super cool." And that's how I got on it. I made an account at his house, and then I went to my house to play it. And eventually, I convinced my parents. What did you guys do to convince your parents' membership? Because what my parents had to do, they're like, "I don't know about this whole online gaming thing." So my mom, who's pretty computer savvy, was like, "All right, I'll make an account and I'll check the game out and make sure it's not weird, right?" So she made an account and she kept playing it. She really liked it. And for the longest time, my mom had a better account than me.
Yeah, your mom is maxed on RS3, isn't she?
No, she's not maxed on RS3. She stopped playing before then, but she's got the million-year veteran cape or whatever they got now. But I think they have like a 15-year cape, right? They had a 10-year one for a long time, but she's got a 15-year one. She stopped playing before, like shortly after EOC. It's not that she didn't like EOC. It's that, real life, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I said. I think At first, for like the first month, they were like, no. And the next month, I was like, are you sure? I still want membership on this game. It's really fun. And Eli has it. And they're like, okay. Because Eli was 3 years younger than me. And they're like, I guess you can.
I think my mom's still locked in for like really low membership rate. I don't think she's ever canceled her membership.
The way
Yeah,
it
my,
went for me.
Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No.
I was just going to add on
Talk.
my membership for my main account is like the grandfather lower rate too. Still.
I wish. Nah, the way it went for me, like I remember vividly. I begged and begged for like 3 months straight to get membership. And every time my mom would say no. And like I had to convince her that like there was an economy in the game and like I would learn valuable trade skills for like going into high school and shit. I'd learn about money and shit like that. And she was finally like, all right, you know, whatever, just stop fucking bothering me. And she bought me membership. 1 week later, my little sister wanted a Club Penguin membership, same exact price. Okay, got it immediately.
Whoa.
I felt so fucking betrayed.
That's how younger siblings. That's how it goes with younger siblings, though. It sounds like something that
was
would have
so
happened
It's
in
mad.
my
probably because it was
house.
Club Penguin. Your mom was probably in on that shit. She's like, a Club Penguin? Yeah, that game's dope.
Yeah, they don't
My
even let
mom
you
had a
swear in
fucking
that game.
igloo.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah, dude.
freaking amazing.
Have you guys been to the ban from Club Penguin subreddit?
No.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's so good. People used to joke about like having a speed run for who can get banned the fastest.
Yep. That's the
So,
thing.
like, what's the world record for getting banned on Club Penguin? The youngest of 7. I mean, I am trying to tell you something. You have too many siblings.
I'm
There you go.
trying to tell you something else. Your parents like each other a lot.
They needed a hobby.
Should have got them started on RuneScape. Would have only had like 2 siblings.
Oh my gosh. Tom said jokes on her. Which game is still up and running?
Fair point.
Here's a hint.
It's
Here's
not
a
Club
hint. It's
Penguin.
Jinx, not Club Penguin. Oh man. Do you guys want to get started on the dev blog?
Sure.
Sure.
All right, cool. So yeah, the documentary is awesome. If you guys haven't gone and checked it out, I'll drop a link in the chat. I think there's a YouTube link somewhere at the bottom here. Here it is. Watch it now on the RuneScape channel. Okay, you guys heard the audio for like 2 seconds, but yeah, if you guys haven't watched it, that's the RuneScape documentary. Go check it out. It's really cool.
Well worth a watch.
Alrighty,
Mhm.
so let's start on the Fossil Island dev blog. Let's get going on that one. So, discovering the island, there's a fucking quest! Jesus Christ!
Yay.
I
There's
never
a
thought we'd
quest?
see another one of these.
Yeah, there's a quest. Do you not know this?
You got to do a quest.
I
It's
didn't
called
read that part.
Bone Voyage, which also sounds a lot like a Bon
Bon
Voyage.
voyage.
Pretty cool. I wonder who
Pretty
came
sure
up with
it's
that one.
supposed to be Bone Voyage.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it could be either.
It's a pun,
It's,
all right.
it's both. That's what it is. It's both.
Is it
Anywho.
either or either?
It's both.
Is it tomato or tomato?
It's both.
Okay, has anyone ever heard anyone say tomato?
No.
In England, they do.
Fucking weirdos. They're weird.
Yeah.
They also say herb.
So do you.
Only okay. I
You gonna
only
blame
blame the
them?
people in my chat roast the shit out of me because somehow I have a lot of European viewers and they'll give me shit for it. Nobody else cares. Only
Really?
them. They're like, no, you have to speak English like you do. Chill the fuck out, dude. What do you think of your own continent or something? You guys win a war?
Talk though, Mr. Wiki.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I started saying wiki recently because that one also bothers everyone.
That one
You're saying
bothered
it
me.
wrong.
To my credit, that one bothered me for so long, and I never once mentioned it.
Yes. Because you're a nice guy. Rob's not.
I'm a dick. I'll admit it.
He's
Mm.
like, wow. For me, it's weird. Like, I see the word Wikipedia and it's Wikipedia, but you see like the shortened version of it because sometimes it's Wikia, like IA.
Mhm.
So that's Wikia, and then I'll see WIKI, and I just say Wiki. I don't know why, but obviously it's Wiki because Wikipedia. But I don't know. That one just. You ever look at a word and you just say it wrong? and that's just the way you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here's an even better one. Have you guys ever only like seen a word or like read a word somewhere
Mm-hmm.
and then try to use it?
Yeah.
And then someone just gives you this look like, dude, that is not how you say that.
Mm-hmm.
That was me with the word facade about ninth grade.
Makes sense. Damn,
Because
it's
I'd
a
only ever
French
seen
word,
it in the
right?
book. It is a French word.
Damn French
and it's not
words.
always written with the little
Right,
curly
right.
thing under it.
Yeah, for me, I was reading through the Harry Potter novels as they were coming out because I was a kid at the time, and I didn't know that Cedric was pronounced with a soft C. So I like in conversation with other people about the books, I called him Kedrick.
Kedrick.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
but I got Hermione right. I always said that one right.
Hermione.
Yeah.
That's a really weird like word. Hermione. Anyways, RuneScape.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the discovering the island. This is basically a continuation of the exam kudos stuff.
Yes.
Mhm.
So poll question: should Fossil Island and the Boyne I was trying to say
Bone Voyage.
and Bon Voyage like together. Sorry, Bone Voyage quest be added to old school
Voyage.
RuneScape. Bone Voyage.
There you go.
There we go. So yeah, that's the poll question, and I think pretty obviously people are going to vote yes, right?
Hell yeah.
Even if they don't agree on all like the crap in the dev blog, I think people are at least going to say, yeah, we want this, right? Or at least one would hope. Let's not talk about last week's poll results. So the fossils. So with the discovery of Fossil Island, a paleontology floor will be added to the Varric Museum. You're helping collecting and inspecting fossils from the island. So you need to develop the new area. So many of the fossils you find around Fossil Island will be valuable to the museum. As you send them to the museum, you'll be rewarded with a small amount of experience in crafting or construction. You get a pick, depending on the size of your fossil. So how big your bone is very important. The experience rewards for contributing to the Varric Museum scale based on your level, and they're a one-off reward. So I'm sure they like probably caps that at some point. It's probably like tier like 30, 50, 70, 80, whatever. Maybe it's just totally just based on your level, but this might be pretty cool. I'm not sure how many levels you can get off this, but depending, it might be really nice for reaching certain levels and certain count types and stuff like that. Because I know like there's some instances on Iron Man where oh, I got to get these crafting levels. Or I got to do this really stupid stuff with the charter ships, and it might alleviate some of those problems. But I don't know. I don't know if the fossils unlock anything or if they're just you hand them in, you get the reward.
They give kudos.
Oh, they give kudos as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be more kudos.
Yeah, they were talking about it on the Q&A. They're thinking of having the lava mine locked behind a higher kudos limit than what we have now. That way, not
Will
everyone
that change
has
the Varric
access.
Elite diary?
What does Varric Elite do currently?
You need all kudos.
You need to max your kudos.
I'm not sure if it lists a number of kudos or if it just says all kudos.
I don't know.
I'm actually not sure.
No idea.
Yeah, let me just open up my diary real quick here.
Okay.
The diary rewards. Varrock. Scroll all the way down to elites. What is it? I don't know. Maybe it's the hard diary reward.
For all kudos?
Yeah.
Maybe it was.
I think it is hard.
Yeah, speak to Orlando. Oh no, okay, never mind. It specifies a number.
Okay.
153 kudos, which is all. It specifies a number, so it doesn't just say all.
Oh, there you go.
Let's hope that was actually coded properly.
It's not gonna fucking.
And it doesn't just say like you need all the kudos.
Like you show up to buy your battle staves after Fossil Island releases, and it's like no.
No battle stats for you.
You get 2 of them. Fuck you.
Best I can do is 20 battle stats. You're like, all right, and I know this is Rick Harris's pawn shop. Yeah. So moving on from like the fossils and the kudos and stuff, you already mentioned the volcanic mine. I think this is the one that's caused a little bit of a wee hissy fit on Twitter from the, we're not going to name names, but you probably already know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
He's in Hexas. He's very sensitive about 200 mil mining. He's one of like what 2 people in the game with it. So that really narrows down that list.
His name is
Right.
Autumnology, and he's from Massachusetts. His real name is Caleb.
Wow.
There's no
He's
reason
gonna
keeping it
dox
under
him?
wraps. We already know who the fuck you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. So it was Autumnology.
Like,
Same guy who raised concerns about Zaya rune crafting. But the funny part is, like, with the Zaya rune crafting, it was put in the game, and that's when he started raising the concerns about it. We don't even know how the skilling method's gonna work, right? He just sees 80k XP per hour, and he goes, "I don't want that to be accessible." Is how I feel about it.
yeah.
I don't know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this one because I like Aubrey. He does a lot of good things for the game.
Yeah.
He's entitled to his opinion. But this pisses me off. We don't even know what the method is going to be, and he's already crying wolf about it.
Doesn't really bother me that much, honestly. But I also don't mind the idea of locking it behind extra kudos either. I think that it's probably a pretty decent thing because it said the XP rates will go up to 80k, right?
Up to.
Yeah, up to 80k. That's a lot though. Like, I did blast mining for
It is a
99
lot.
mining, and I think that caps out at 60, 65.
It's very profitable though.
That's true. They did say that this would be a
This
lot
will
less
not
profitable.
be
Yeah.
profitable.
I don't know. I'm kind of the opinion that I already have 99 mining, so I don't care. Although,
Yeah, I mean-
Caleb did tweet saying that he's done with mining forever, so it's kind of water under the bridge for him as well. Like it's not like he's been whining about it that much.
No, I think he only made like 3 or 4 tweets about it. But I mean, he also was looking for a lot of people's feedback as
Yeah.
well. So I mean, he may have only made a couple tweets about it, but he was certainly responding to all the criticism he was getting.
That's true. He could
Um,
be more concerned with EHP than. And to that I say I care even less.
Yeah, I mean, the argument he makes is like, I'm concerned for the longevity of the game, but at the same time, it's like there is a lot of variety in mining methods currently, right? You want really AFK, semi-profitable, motherload.
Yep.
You want more XP, more effort, more reward. You got gem rocks. You want to do quite a bit more effort, still make profit, and still get decent XP rates. Blast mining. You want to make no money and work your ass off for the best XP rates. Granted,
You want
so there's a lot of variety in mining right now.
an RSI and no money. 3-tick mining.
Yeah. So I think I think some of the criticism is valid, which is like we don't necessarily need another mining method. But I kind of think there is like a little gap, right? There is a gap for no profit, sort of like a little less intense, but still good XP, right?
Yeah. Don't mind that.
I don't know. It's like the blast mining without reward, right? Is kind of how it seems to be getting pitched, which is I think there's I don't want to, people immediately came out and started saying mining Todd, right? Because it's a mini game. People immediately said mining Todd. I don't want another Winter Todd. Fuck Winter Todd. I don't want another boss like that, right? I don't want
No,
something
that was
really
horrible.
AFK. But people don't know how it's going to end up. We haven't talked about the methods. The methods for the volcanic mine are nowhere in the dub log. They just give some XP rates, right? They say level 50 mining, 40k per hour. 85 mining, 80k an hour. 99 mining, 85k an hour.
Yeah,
Now,
they also-
85 mining, 80k an hour is pretty spicy. But
Yeah, it is.
they don't say anything other than group scaling activity, what you basically are going to be doing, which is controlling lava, removing rocks from walls, solidifying floors, and mining and depositing minerals.
I wonder if
Yeah,
it's
you'll
going to
you'll
have.
get ores and fossils.
I wonder if it's going to have a better focus on it being a group skilling activity though, because like it highlights the fact that it's a group skilling activity, like Winter Todd. But I don't really view Winter Todd as like a group activity. I view it as I'm there by myself, and there just happens to be a bunch of people that I don't want to hear talk the whole time. I'm there. Like you focus on your own actions that everybody else is also doing, and then it dies. I wonder if this one's going to actually stress people's individual roles and make it
It
feel
will.
more like a group skilling activity, because it lists these things that you can do, these different things that contribute to the success of the team. So it already sounds like it's not going to be like Wintertot, which is a good thing.
I
don't
would.
know, I think people
compare it-
are upset because of how Zaya RC went down and how Wintertot was when it was released. I think people are just skeptical.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Rob?
Yeah, what were you
From
saying, bro?
how they've spoken about it, I would compare it more to Blast or
Blast,
yeah,
Blast
Blast
Furnace?
Furnace.
Oh, Blast Furnace. Oh, yeah.
With how some people need to like watch the meter thing, tell the guy that's pumping how much fuel to put in and shit, manage that. And then you got the people that are
The
fixing
problem
pipes
with
and then running the belt.
the problem with the
They're all
furnace is the
contributing.
people who aren't actually getting orders are getting totally fucked. They don't get anything. But
Yeah, but I mean that's exactly what's happening anyway. You're not going to get any reward, but you're going to get XP for it, and it's going to be damn good. You're each going to have your role, like they were talking about, like diverting.
so kind
lava
of like
flows and
trawling,
shit.
like a non-shitty version of fishing trawler.
Yeah, that would be another way.
Fishing
to
trawler
compare it.
didn't take 12 minutes game. Or
Yeah.
Trawler's disgusting, man. You guys have all done trawler, right? For the
God, for too many hours,
Yeah.
dude. I was so unlucky at trawler.
I felt bad that I had to do like 20 something trawls, but like you had to do like how many?
I was
Trawls?
there for like 20 hours.
Oh my god,
It's been
it was
about
disgusting.
It was horrible.
Oh man, I feel pretty good getting away with like an investment of like a few hours.
Yeah. No, it was bad.
Lucky you.
I don't know, but something more along the lines of trawler, like you can do different activities, but at the end, you kind of all split the reward equally, right?
Mhm.
I think something like that would be more cool, as long as there's nothing like super AFK that you can do and just abuse the game. That's all I'm worried about. As long as you can't abuse it, as long as the rewards aren't stupidly overpowered, I'm okay with that XP level. I'm totally fine with that.
Hi, Kristen. Somebody told me that you didn't exist earlier. Is that true? Hope that's not true.
Women don't exist on the internet.
Oh no, it was more like you're an RS nerd. You don't have a girlfriend. Go back to lying around the GE. I mean, he was
Well, I
joking,
mean-
but I just want to make sure.
That is, I would say, that is the RuneScape stereotype.
Yeah, it is.
Forever
Imagine
alone,
using
never
the
have a
GE.
girlfriend.
Shut up, Virgin.
Somebody's been watching Moaning stream. Did you see the image of Moaning with like he's got like the Easter bunny ears on? And
Yeah.
drawn like
No, I haven't seen it.
a nose and whiskers and everything. Oh,
Yeah,
Maybe
Arcane.
Emily, man.
Yeah, I'm talking about you. But I know you were joking.
Gosh, man.
Apparently, Kristen's a 35-year-old man. That sucks.
True.
That's
I see.
hot.
I've been debated.
Does she have a bigger dick than you?
Hey Shane, what's going on, man?
Shane.
Shane's hitting us up from the bus stop.
Yeah, is that did he say that? Did I miss it, or
I don't
are we just assuming that?
She just said, "Hey, sexy
Yeah, okay.
amigos."
Shane, where are you?
Hopefully he's at the bus stop.
God, gonna dox him now too. Are you the new Randalicious, Chase?
I don't think
Whoa.
telling you guys what Caleb told me himself is doxing. He told me on Twitter, by the way, like 2 years ago. Oh yeah, I live in Mass, and I was like, cool, I live in Maine, and that was the extent of it.
Neat.
Yeah, cool.
Likely story.
Really neat.
Kristen says, nope, I have a tiny penis. Big car, though. Those two things go hand in hand, I've heard, yeah.
They
If you have a
do.
V8 Mustang. If you drive a V6 Mustang, you don't actually drive a Mustang, by the way.
I'm kind of
Just saying.
offended. I'm pretty sure
Chase
mine
is
is a
like,
V6. But I don't care enough because it's actually not my vehicle. I don't own it.
Your daddy's. All right, so this is the poll question. It says, if Fossil Island is added to Old School, should it include volcanic mine skilling activity, maximum XP rate, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to vote yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm a little concerned with how the method's actually going to be implemented, and I'm going to be looking closely. I think Mod Maz is designing it.
She is.
So I'm going to be looking closely towards Mod Maz to see what it's actually going to be. But most likely, I'm just going to vote yes, because it seems cool. It's something new to do. And maybe I'll use it. I'm probably just going to jump mine to 99 now. It's most likely what I'm going to do.
I likely will as well, just for the crafting reward on it.
Yeah, it's like 4 million crafting XP for an Iron Man.
Yeah, you can't really
Dope.
pass that up.
So good.
Iron Man.
I don't know, Chase. You ever gonna go for your 200 mil mining at
No,
Mining Todd?
no. I'm
No?
not going for 200 mil mining anywhere. Gross.
You're like, I don't care if it's 100k XP an hour. It's not happening.
No.
All right, so we can move on. So there's some more skilling stuff on Fossil Island. Hardwood farming. This is kind of cool. I don't think they've gone into much detail on this, or maybe they did on the Q&A. But in certain areas on Fossil Island, environment is just right to support the growth of teak and mahogany trees. 35 and 55 farming. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be like a thing where like you kill monsters and the monsters drop the seeds, or did they go?
I'm
into any
hoping
detail
the
on
seeds
Q&A?
get added to the wyvern table.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they're probably going to be on the wyverns table, the new wyverns.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about that yet, but I'm sure you guys all know what we're talking about.
I feel like, I guess it kind of makes sense, but when I read the farming level requirements for the two types of hardwood trees, I was kind of surprised that they're how low they are.
I don't know. I feel like, do you guys think it's going to get added to like other seed tables, or is it just going to be like kind of like a maybe just a reward?
It would depend on the XP for it. Like I assume it would come from Bird Nest. I assume that would be added in. I'd like to see it from wyverns, as we just said. Adding it to everything else retroactively, I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It comes out to like the XP reward. Like a 55 farming requirement, that's not a whole lot. If it's like comparable to like a maple tree seed or something, I wouldn't mind it at that point. But if we're talking like magic seed level, I don't know. Like I'd have to see the XP on it for me to like give an actual decision on that.
Yeah.
Lemonian says in the chat, he says something on the design stream of Mod West said that the seeds were not going to be easily obtainable. So
All right.
maybe they are going to be like an uncommon or rare drop from the wyverns.
Yeah, I guess the hardwood trees correspond to the woodcutting levels for them. I guess it just surprised me. It's just one of those phenomenon where you've got like teaks are how I did 99 woodcutting, because teaks are the fastest training up to 99, despite the fact that they have a low threshold to start cutting them. That's just the part that kind of
it's like that for so many
surprised me.
old skills in RuneScape.
Yeah, just one of those things.
When do we get woodcutting, Todd? Ivy when?
No.
Oh my god, do you guys remember Ivy?
Yes.
I do.
EOC?
Devalues my 99 woodcutting.
OP. Talk about overpowered, man.
Yep.
Looking at the placement of where they would be, it looks like they'd be at like the top left of the map by the hunter area. With what they're planning for hunting, I could see it added into like like a daily run or something, or like a.
Oh yeah, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, I'm gonna link it in the chat. This is the map we're talking about, the Fossil Island map. Yeah, so you can kind of like look at a preliminary map of the area.
It looks to be a bit of a run from where you would get in, though. I don't know how easily accessible the island's going to be in terms of like a
ferry ring.
teleport.
We need a ferry ring.
Ferry ring
I'm
would
hoping
be
there's
good.
a ferry ring there.
I hope
How
they.
many more ferry ring codes do we have left?
What,
don't
possible
know.
combinations, you mean?
Yeah. Has somebody done the math on that? Because
There
there's
can't
only
be a lot.
They could also start.
Yeah, there can't be that many.
They could start making it so that you have to do like that bullshit you do in the fairy quests, where you have to do more
The
than one
two-way
code,
teleports. Yeah. Could always start doing that.
I hope
That
they just
would be
don't give it
AIDS.
the Zaya treatment where they spread things out way farther than necessary. I really.
It
just
doesn't
hope
look
they-
like it's going to be. Like it looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah, it
so.
looks
on
pretty
that.
condensed, actually.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be planting hardwood trees just to cut them here. It doesn't seem like, I don't know. It just seems like one of those things. Like every now and again, I'm gonna get a hardwood tree, and I'll be like, yeah, cool. I'll go plant it for 10k XP or whatever.
I'll probably plant hardwood trees if they give a good chance at the farming pet.
I'll plant them for the XP, but I'm not going to plant them to cut them.
Right.
Unless there's a bank very close. Then
There's not. Looking at the island. Well,
It could change.
I can't
though.
tell if that's
This
a
is dev
bank
mod.
island or hold on. Let me fucking zoom.
just put a deposit chest right between the two. Oh my god.
And there
Make
might be
like
bank
a
there.
make a system of tubes that automatically just run them into your bank. You don't have to do anything.
Oh my gosh. You're bringing back memories of modded Minecraft. where
Yeah,
you
that's
had,
what I was
the
thinking. I was
tubes
thinking
and
the
stuff like that.
The Feed the Beast mod
gosh.
pack.
Oh, those are such good mods. We need to make like a Kids of Age.
Yeah, because we
Minecraft
definitely
server
have enough
sometime.
time to throw in like another thing like that.
Oh yeah, totally.
We
We
could
do.
totally play on that.
We can plant
It's
hardwood.
maybe like more one of those things like I do on the weekend when I'm not streaming or
Yeah.
working or whatever. You guys would never see it. We just enjoy it.
Yeah, fuck you
Secret.
guys.
I wouldn't have the time for it.
I don't think I would either. I definitely
No,
wouldn't.
Scorch. They specify that the soil for the island allows for it, which is a little odd considering there are hardwood trees kind of everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't logically
they
make
are
sense.
they are rare trees though.
What it said
There
was
aren't
that
too
they're
many of them in the game.
what it said wasn't that it's only possible in the island. It says that the island just happens to be perfect for them. So now they're giving it to us to grow ourselves.
True.
Okay, let's be real here. Game logic aside, they're doing this because we can't currently do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just an added benefit for Fossil Island.
It's one of those. Well, we haven't done it yet.
Yep.
I don't know. This is kind of one of those things that it's weird, right? Like if we didn't have the whole dev blogs and the polling system, this is just one of those things that would just come out in the update, and you'd be like, "Oh, cool, we can do that."
Yeah.
But like looking at it on paper, like on the dev blog, you're like, "Okay, like what does this do? Like who's this for?" It almost feels like players are. I feel like we're being this way too. It's like we're almost being overcritical of such like a tiny thing. It's like, hey, cool, we can do hardwood trees now. Awesome, right? Like that's probably the way we should just look at this.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm kind of like question marking about. I kind of want the new seeds added to previous drop tables. I think at some point in time, maybe that's something to discuss. Just depends on how we get them. Because they may end up being stupidly rare because you can only get them from like one activity or.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be viable for anybody to do, really.
There's almost got to be a reason to do it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I am gonna vote yes.
Same.
What I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those why not sort of things, I think. Right. So we'll move on. Tracking and herblore. This one I think is cool.
I'm very excited for this.
I think any Iron Man in the chat should be really hype because this could end up being awesome for herblore without fundamentally changing too much the way it works, but a way to change it up. Oh, somebody's talking to me.
Depends on the yield. You would
yeah,
have to
it really
get
does. We haven't
8.
even covered it. We should cover it quickly.
Sure.
Right. Throughout Fossil Island, a roaming plant-like animal can be tracked. This creature possesses an interesting trait. When fed herb seeds, it will grow herbs on their back. If you're able to track this creature down, you can feed it herb seeds of your choosing and then track it after some time has passed. So similar to like planting your herbs, right? And the usual herblore requirements and experience also apply. I assume they mean farming. So yeah, basically it's an alternate way to plant your seeds, which I think is super cool.
So is it like a roaming guaranteed farming patch? Because it doesn't say anything about it having a chance to not grow.
I have no idea. I think we will soon find out. Depending on how long it takes and what the yield is, this could be sweet, right? If it yields as much as a farming patch, like because right now I think if you don't have 99 and you're not using the like super mega ultra compost that's going to come out potentially with these updates, your average yield right now is like 7 to 8.
Yeah, it's 8 per seed in terms of.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that including the farming cape?
No.
Because I think without the farming cape, it's like 7 and some change. It's like the average yield. I don't know. Anyways, you're getting somewhere in the ballpark of 7 to 8 herbs per seed. If this is anywhere close to that, this is awesome, right? And even if it's low, it might be a good use for like your lower tier seeds, right? That you don't really care too much. You're like sitting there staring at your like your like 700 Marintel seeds, and you're like, yeah, I'm never using that. Because that's what I do. I look at my bank and I've got like a stupid amount of like Haralander seeds and Marintel seeds. And I just think to myself, yeah, I'm never planting those. Because the XP is just not worth the amount of time. If the yield is lower, but the amount of time to get these is fairly reasonable, this could be a great way to go through all those.
It could, but like I don't know if I'd even do it then. Just because like I'd rather be spending the time doing something else. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I probably won't use it. I like the idea a lot, though. It's very creative.
Yeah, I feel like for
Yeah.
mains, this doesn't do anything
Nah,
necessarily.
just sell those shit
Unless it's
seeds.
really good. If it's really good, then it's gonna make you a lot of money off herb seeds. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of there's also a question. Lemonian brings up a good one. That what's the limit going to be? How many of these things can you track down? Can you do 1, 2, 3, 10? It's probably going to be based on your hunting level, I'd imagine. So like you can hunt 1 at this level, 2 at this level, 3, etc. Probably all the way up to 5.
That could drastically change
If that's how
everything.
this works. If that's how this works, and the yield is decent, and the amount of time isn't unreasonable. We could be looking at like a thing where like we're basically getting 5 extra herb patches,
Yeah.
which could drastically cut down the amount of time it takes to get 99 herb lore on an Iron Man. Because the longest part of it is the actual part on Iron Man. Iron Man herb lore is really weird, right? Technically, it doesn't really take you any time to gather all the herbs and stuff, but it takes a long amount of real life time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it'll take you like months of real life time to amass all the herbs you need. And then gathering the secondaries is only like 2 months of work. And then boom, you've got 99 farming. But in reality, it takes a very long time to get all its herbs. If this could speed that up, this means that 99 herblore is way more obtainable on an Iron Man without really changing how you go about it. You still have to get all the seeds, farm all the herbs, all that. It just cuts down a lot of extra time that you spend waiting, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I think it could be super cool, and this is one of the ones I'm most excited about. I think this has potential to be a really awesome update.
It says,
All right,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
excited for it.
it's got some
I don't-
potential for
we
me
went
not
on
to
about
use
that,
it.
I think, enough. Yeah, for mains, it doesn't matter. I'm excited about it.
It's got some pretty awesome potential for me to ignore it.
It got some pretty awesome potential to never happen.
You have an Iron Man
Um,
though, Chase.
Yeah,
That's
make an
true.
Iron Man.
I mean, I have an Iron
One that
Man.
doesn't just do fishing.
Tell
Are
that
you
to
a
my
fishing only Iron Man?
check my stats. I'm clearly not, but I might as well be. I just don't
Are you
want to
99
focus on my.
fishing yet?
I am 443k away from 99 fishing.
Holy shit, you're like super close.
Yeah,
Dang, dude.
but
And
I
also
just
some
don't.
dude's hijacking my world so he can 3-tick.
I just don't want to focus on it. I care too much about my main.
It's multi-combat. I could just crash this guy. I'm at Teeks.
Kill the birds.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I should kill the bird.
Bentley says the greater game mode, but he only thinks that because his main is broke.
He's not wrong though.
Ouch. All right. So, anyways, let's move on here. He's just doing it so he doesn't have to pay back the 5 mil. If you're a fan of Hunter, but you don't really like bird house traps, are your dream come true. Okay, so this only matters if you're low level, right? Because it's 5, 15, 25, 35.
Yeah.
For all these different levels of bird houses, right? And so what these do is you set up the birdhouse and you come check it after a period of time. Like you load it with seeds, I think. You put seeds in it.
Yeah.
Anyways, you put seeds in there for bait and you come back after a period of time and you collect a bunch of dead birds, basically. Because that's not weird or anything, right?
Kind of gross.
I don't know like what the amount of time on this is gonna be, but it might be like this almost seems like a daily scape sort of thing, right?
Kind of like farming Hunter. Like it's like the farming
Yeah,
skill.
it's like farming Hunter. Exactly. It's weird. All these like farming herblore Hunter crossovers. Kind of cool, actually.
It can't be any worse than what it already takes to catch.
Yeah,
birds.
yeah,
current
that's true.
bird hunting is awful.
It makes like super early game Hunter more tolerable. And then you just
Yeah.
move
Well,
on.
there's also a crafting level requirement to make the houses.
Right.
So there's that too. I don't know. It's interesting.
Now that you point
uh,
that out, that kind of bothers me.
What,
the crafting levels.
Yeah, because like the crafting level and the hunter level for the first one, they're both in line. They're both 5. then
You're slightly
going
off as you
forward-
go up.
Yeah, each
They're off by
crafting level
1.
is 1 more than the hunter level.
Yeah.
That's actually really upsetting me.
Yeah, it goes
Why?
5, 5, 15, 14, 25, 24, 35, 34. Maybe it's due to like how Hunter is set up as a skill. I don't know, like what is at those levels, like 25, 24.
Maybe it's due to the JMOs wanting to trigger Rob.
Yeah, maybe they just want to uneven just to fuck with people because they think that'd be funny.
All right.
Are you guys looking forward to if you make a new account doing your hunter runs? You're like, oh, I gotta go do my hunter run.
Collect
Check
the dead bird collection runs.
Yeah.
I'm also curious how many you can stack up in there.
Yeah, this is like a precursor to your RuneScape character being a serial killer.
You're not wrong.
Dead birds I collected today. It's super weird.
I'm a great
right?
hunter, but now I kind of have the urge to hunt people.
Hey Andy, it's been a while since I've seen you, man. Welcome. Right. This is cool for like low level accounts, right? I don't think this means anything for higher level accounts.
Nah.
I want to alternate hunting pet, dead bird.
You have to drag
I
it
would've
behind you on a
followed you.
leash.
Ah,
Just
drag
drag
the
it along.
corpse.
You just attach a bowstring to it.
Oh my god. Both
Kraken tentacle. Gotta sink it.
Kraken
tentacles.
But eventually the bird will decay because the Kraken tentacle is poisonous. And then you'll have to get another new bird pet.
I didn't realize Andy Nero took his hardcore Iron Man up to me in game and said hi. I didn't even realize that was your account, dude. That's cool. All right, so let's move on to the Ultra Compost. Right, this is pretty cool. The volcanic ash found on Fossil Island offers excellent properties for use in farming. Can be mixed with Herolander in order to create a compost potion. Says requires all 17 herbivore. That's actually a typo. It definitely requires 20 because you can't even identify Herolander still 20. So definitely was supposed to be 20. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, anyways, compost potions convert standard compost into super compost, but they're only currently available as a reward from Garden of Tranquility and Nightmare Zone. So I don't think anybody really does that.
No.
And it says when used directly on a bucket of super compost, volcanic ash will create ultra compost. Alternatively, volcanic ash can be used directly on a full compost bin to make the whole thing ultra compost, which I think is pretty cool. So we don't know how much better than regular compost this is, or super compost rather. Basically, the way compost works is you use it. Most people use it for. Oh, we do. They mentioned it.
They mentioned it. I don't know if it was this week or last week, but it's going to give at minimum a flat guaranteed +1.
Okay, so it'll be
herbs.
6 instead of 5.
Yeah,
cool.
Because currently it's 5 for herbs. So if this one's 6, that's useful. I would use that.
But you also have to imagine that it gives you an increased chance of them not getting disease too, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that also increases your average yield, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely going to be worth using. Definitely going to be worth using. I really want there to be a lunar spell, an ultra compost lunar spell, because currently I do my runs all on lunars, so I don't have to keep up with compost.
Well, they actually talked about something this week to remedy that, and I actually really like the idea. It was a big bucket, basically, that you could like hold charges of super compost,
so like
and
a watering
compost
can.
in. Yeah, like a watering can. That would just hold all your compost in it. You could like empty, full compost bins into it, and you wouldn't have to worry about like juggling shit in your inventory or anything. Especially like when you're taking like 15 pineapples there to make super compost and shit. It's a giant pain in the ass.
Can they make it wieldable?
That would be neat.
Should make it wieldable. You can people just carrying around a huge bucket.
Two-handed bucket. Just
like
no, it has to have like the anchor run animation.
No, not the anchor, because the anchor you hold in such a way, but the big present animation.
I just want the funny run animation.
Yeah,
we all know the one. Archaea spell from the new compost. That would be.
So we're gonna
silly.
get ultra compost. How long do you think until we get like mega compost?
Giga compost.
Giga compost. Terra compost.
Sunday.
See, Terra compost works because it's the prefix like terabyte, but it also almost sounds like the root word that means earth because Terra.
Yeah.
Petition for smart content names.
They sound exactly the same, actually.
When do we get Omega compost?
Right, but they're spelled differently. There's 2 R's for Terra.
Yeah.
And 1 R for Terra.
I just want to say like ultra compost Why couldn't it have been extreme compost? Because think about it. We have regular potions, super potions, extreme potions, right? And then you had overloads.
Yeah.
Why not extreme compost?
What if the big bucket's a cape slot item instead? You wear it.
Hey, did you
Wear it
just
on
take
your
the
back.
handle
It's like a
and
sack.
rest it on your neck?
What? I don't know. We've got the bone sack.
What if you get into the bucket and then hop around in it?
Okay.
There's your funny
Now
animation.
You're way out of line, Chase.
You want to
Yeah,
talk
dude,
about?
you don't hop in it. You like put your feet through it and you Flintstone the bitch.
You guys remember the old Mario games where you'd like get in the boot? It was like the little boot
Oh,
with,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
the wind-up thing.
Yep.
I want it to just be like a big boot that you get in. Why isn't Jagex implemented? You know how they have like the bed sheet for like the ghost thing? What they need to do is they need to have like a sack race item. Like you participate in a sack race for
All right,
quest.
so Nigel's
It's like
idea of a sack race is
it's like a
okay, but
boot
my
on
idea of
item.
hopping around in a giant bucket's not okay. All right.
You equip it in the boot slot and it like you like hold the sack. you can't wear anything while you wield it, right? Because it's like a special animation thing.
Petition to make it so you can wear old boots.
Mm-hmm.
If you
I just
catch
want
two of them, you
an
just
old
use
boot.
one on the other. You get a pair of old boots.
Nope, only one boot. One boot per account.
So it's like the homeless fashionscape. You can only wear one boot. The other one is just.
It's a big boot. You can like put your entire self in the boot. The sound effect could really make it. Oh man, I would pay to hear. I would pay to hear the like sack hop sound effect. Only if Mod Ash records it. All right, have a good one, Andy. Thanks for dropping by, dude. All right, let's talk about
All right.
Well, we've got 2 poll questions here. They said if Fossil Island is out of old school, should it be possible to create compost potions? And then they've got the volcanic ash for ultra composting.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care about compost potions, but
Yeah,
ultra compost, yeah.
I like it.
All right, let's move on to ancient wyverns. So this one I think has raised a lot of like eyebrows. People are like, Right. So we've got skeletal wyverns in the game right now. They've got kind of like relatively high Slayer. It's like what 72?
72.
Yeah, 72. Not really high level, but to some people, 72 Slayer is like, whoa, dude, I got wyverns finally.
Casuals.
Yeah. So these require 66. They're even lower level, actually. 66 is significantly less than 72 in terms of XP. So this can only be assigned if you've completed the quest. And their drops are kind of interesting. They've got granite boots, which is a level of boots better than rune. But you get rune boots at level 80.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tier 50 defensive boot.
They're tier 50.
Why are they better than Rune?
Because granite's better than rune.
Yeah, because granite.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I've
This
ever
makes me
heard.
kind of raise my eyebrow. Yeah, it's tier 50 gear, requires 50 defense or whatever. So it's not like Zerkers are going to suddenly be wearing these, but it's 12, 13, 14 with 8 range defense. And it does +3 melee strength,
Yeah.
which I think is 1 better than rune boots, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know. This is interesting to me.
I don't like the fact that you get it at 62 and you don't get Rune till
Here's
80.
my thing. I think rune boots are only at 80 because they used to be the best boots in the game. Dragon boots didn't used to exist,
Mhm.
and they didn't exist when this version of the old school came out.
Mhm.
Right? That was introduced with God Wars Dungeon, which wasn't with this version of RuneScape when we got
Fair.
old school.
That is
Yeah.
fair.
I think if Jagex is one of those things of like smithing. If Jagex
Yeah,
were to design
smithing.
it now, it would be very different, right?
Wouldn't cap at rune.
Yeah, we wouldn't have rune boots at 80, right? We'd have rune boots at like probably like 60 or 70. So I just think this is one of those things where like they're being realistic. This is where that content should be, I think. All right. So I don't know. I feel like this is fine where they're at. I know I saw a couple of people on Reddit like complain about the fact that oh, that's too low level to be better than Necrylls. It's like you have a 3-level difference between Rune Boots and Dragon Boots. What are we gonna put? Are we gonna put these at 81? Like, what do you? What?
That's a fair
You know?
point.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I don't
We're
really.
gonna see a lot of people with Granite Boots, though.
It doesn't really bother me, and I know a lot of people complained about the fact that the Ancient Wyverns had a lower Slayer requirement, but I think people need to realize that it's also going to be locked behind both Varrock Museum Kudos and a quest. And people are way more likely to just go and train 6 more Slayer levels than they are to do a quest and Kudos.
I think
People are lazy.
Well, the reason Wyverns are so profitable isn't because you can get a visage off them. It's because their regular drop table is ridiculous. It's very generous. You get like 10 battle staves and what is it, 75 unpowered orbs.
It was the second best money method in the game until the Slayer drop table update for a bunch of shit like Necrylls, Karasks, and what are they called? Gargoyles.
Yeah,
Like
now I think
that's some of the
gargoyles
stuff
are
in
pretty much on par, and they're
they're
easier.
the same money method as Wyverns, or money per hour rather, as Wyverns, but they're much easier.
Yep.
Way user requirements. You don't have to leave.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't have the chance at a visage, but
No, but
like we said earlier, that's not why you're at Wyverns.
Right.
no. The fact that you can go to Wyverns and not, I'm sorry, go to I can't think of the name now.
Gargoyles?
I just fucking said gargoyle. Thank you.
Hmm.
I'm shitting myself in my brain. You can go to gargoyles for like 14 hours straight, basically until your set of Guthans degrades. You have no reason to leave.
Yeah.
You will not die. I
So you can
think
go to the
that's
GE
kinda
and show off
broken.
your money.
Yeah.
It's the only reason to leave. No, wait. So you can trade all your money to your alt, so you can afford efficient 99 Herbler.
Meet up with your mule.
There you go. Because everyone plays 3 alts now, right? Like, are you really playing RuneScape if you don't have 3 alts, all getting you money? Okay, so let's talk about the Granite Longsword.
I like it a lot just because it looks like a Buster sword.
It does. It looks cool. And this is fashionscape as fuck. I want one.
Yeah,
of
dude,
these.
I want it.
All right. Anyways, let's talk about the stats. Requiring level 50 attack and strength to equip. So decent stats. Granite Longsword would sit as the best slash weapon for players with level 50 to 60 attack. So they're adding another tier of weapon at 50 to 60 attack, which is pretty cool. There's actually a lot of 50 attack peers out there that use like Leaf Bladed Sword, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So this would be pretty cool. There's another option for those guys. It's going to be 62 melee strength with attack rate of 5. So this is 1 tick slower than whips and stuff like that, right? But still acceptable attack speed. Pretty cool. 65 slash bonus. It has slight defensive stats. 3/2 crush.
It's one-handed,
interesting.
correct?
It's one-handed, yes.
Mhm.
It just
It
looks
looks-
like a very large, like wide granite. So it's made of fucking granite.
This reminds
So-
me. This reminds me of Skyrim. Some of the swords in Skyrim. They don't look like swords. They look like motherfucking paddles. Is what they look like, right? Like the elven sword in Skyrim. Look like a paddle. Looks like you're gonna like slap somebody around with it. It's kind of what this thing looks
Yeah,
like.
it looks like that.
that. That doesn't look like a slash weapon to me. Looks like I'm just gonna smack people at the side of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I
honestly.
do too.
I like
It's-
it.
Even though fantasy weapons never look that realistic. There's actually a mod for Skyrim that changes all the meshes of all the swords to be like slimmer and look less like paddles.
Hmm.
I don't know. I always play with that mod because it's one of those things. Once somebody points it out to you, you'll never unsee it. It ruins everything. Every time I look at the granite longsword, I'm like, oh, this dude's got a granite paddle. That's cool.
If you
Does this
wanna
make you-
punish someone?
Does this make you want to make a level 50 attack pure?
No.
No.
Yeah, me neither. Shane, all you, buddy.
I think he had to go.
He did. He was running out of data. Nah,
How many cows does Shane have? Like, how many pures?
I think he was like
Oh, he went
9.
through them a little while ago, and it was like 14 or 15 of them.
14. What the
Oh
fuck?
my god. It's
Yeah,
so many
he's-
pures.
I
A
thought I was
lot.
eyeballing it by calling it 12. Jesus Christ.
No.
All right. So you want to talk about the ancient wyvern shield?
Yeah, this is the big one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one I've heard the most complaints about. All right, the Ancient Wyvern Shield. The Ancient Wyvern Shield is a strong defensive and offensive shield for magic.
Mm-hmm.
Provides defensive stats similar to those of a charged Dragonfire Shield. It requires 75 defense and 70 magic. To equip. The shield itself does not drop at the Wyvern. Instead, it drops a visage. And it must be attached to an elemental shield. So, kind of different there. Attaching the visage to an elemental shield requires level 66 magic and 66 smithing to do. Again, much like the DFS, the Ancient Wyvern Shield starts with no stats. Will be charged by using fossils. So instead of Dragonfire charging it, fossils. Kind of weird. When activated, the shield lets out a Wyvern-like attack. And its stats are lowered accordingly, and the attack has a chance of freezing the target. So
That's cool.
It's a barrage, which is kind of neat.
I think the shield looks badass. I want.
Oh, it looks
fucking.
It looks so cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna put an image in the chat for you guys. If you haven't already seen it, look at that.
Yeah,
that looks badass.
Yeah, it does.
I really, really, really like how it looks. But let's talk about the stats. Looks aren't everything, right?
No, of course not.
The stats are what I've heard complaints about. So it's got negative bonuses, -5 to all the melee bonuses, -18 to ranged.
No, -10. -10 to range.
Oh, it's -10. Sorry, eyesight font. 18 is the attack bonus to magic.
Yep.
So that's pretty damn good. Like Arcane's like what, 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like this close to an Arcane. Arcane's I've argued this to people that Arcane has better stats. It doesn't have as many melee defenses and stuff like that, but this is what I say to people. This thing has insane melee defenses. Has 72 stab, 80 slash, 75 crush, 15 magic, -5 ranged.
Mm-hmm.
-2 melee strength bonus and nothing else, right? So it has sick defensive stats for melee. When are you using mage items against melee foes other than like barrows? You just kind of don't. Magic gets used at the end of raids. It gets used for Zulrah. It gets used for a select few bosses, like Scorpia. But you're getting hit by ranged attacks at Scorpia, right?
Yeah.
It's just people look at this and immediately say it's OP, and I look at this and I say to myself, well, yeah, the mage bonus is pretty good, but mage accuracy doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Huge amount of difference to how much damage you deal. It's actually items like Occult Necklace, Staff of the Dead, those percentage buffs to your damage make up a big portion of damage. The difference between 18 and 20 mage accuracy is almost nothing, actually, when it comes to actual how much damage you deal. Very, very, very little difference. So I don't know. I look at this and I say to myself, this is an item that is actually pretty damn good, but doesn't really have a place in the game currently, I don't think. I look at the Arcane and I say to myself, it's got prayer bonus, and it has a fat range defense bonus, which is really nice for raids. It's nicer at Zulrah because you're taking some range damage at Zulrah. I don't know. I look at this and I say to myself, I don't see why people are so afraid.
I think it does have a place in the game.
This item.
It's on my character's right arm because it looks fucking sick.
Oh, yeah, because it looks sick.
Yeah, I agree, really though. Cool. Now that you said that, I do agree that it seems to be a niche item that niche doesn't exist yet.
Yeah,
and exactly. I think with that, I'd say that, yeah, you're right. I no longer think it is OP in any way, and I am excited to kind of see what might come out that would make really good use of it.
If we're talking just like the base value, is it OP? It depends how.
I think people put too much stock in the mage bonus, right?
Yeah.
They look at the Arcane and they say, that has 20, mage bonus, best in slot, right? It's amazing. It should be expensive. And I think to myself, knowing how the combat system of this game works, I think to myself, yeah, who gives a fuck about mage accuracy bonus? You only need so much, and mage is already one of the most accurate attack styles in the game, right? At least against players, it's extremely accurate. Against monsters, it's a different story. It's kind of a big reason why mage doesn't get used. But the places where you do use mage, it's already really good, basically.
Yeah.
mage accuracy kind of only matters up to a certain point. It's the reason why Void Mage sucks. Void Mage gives you a lot of mage accuracy, big deal. A Rims gives you pretty much the same thing, right? I don't know. I kind of...
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me if the stats stay the same, especially if the Ancient Wyvern Visage comes in at like 1 out of 10k or whatever.
It would have to be 1 out of 10k for me to be okay with it.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it's the same drop rate as the current Visage, nobody should bitch about the stats.
I agree.
Because, it's going to be priced accordingly, I think. It's just, I think people are putting way too much stock in how close it is to the arcane. Mage accuracy doesn't matter, basically.
It might not matter, but the fact that like you can take something that's nearly as good as something that comes from Corp in terms of offense bonus from a level 66 Slayer monster, granted it's going to be pretty rare, granted arcane's rare to get. Like, I don't know about you, that seems a little sketchy to me.
People already do that. People already pick up mages books to go do raids with. People already do that.
True.
Because if all you're looking at is the mage bonus, mage's book is pretty good. A lot of people pick that one up.
It's what, like plus 15?
Yeah, it's plus 15.
I also think there's something to be said for the fact that, yeah, it comes from Corp, like arcane comes from Corp, but Corp is locked behind nothing, right? There's no quests, there's no kudos required, and the arcane is better situationally than this thing would be because it's useful in a lot of places.
Yeah, so I'd say in the places where you want an arcane, it's actually really good. The places where you would use this, it's really just the mage bonus. The melee defense isn't doing much for you. I think Houndstooth in the chat brings up a really good point. He says, I assume the best place you would ever use this would be against metal dragons if you mage them. Does this thing actually function as an anti-fire shield? I don't think it does. It functions as an elemental shield. So I think this would... Well, I think you would drink a anti-fire potion and stuff, right?
But you'd still take damage.
I don't know.
Yeah, you'd still take damage. Because Prey Mage doesn't work against metal dragons. So I don't know if that's that good. Doesn't say in the post. I think they answered that question either in a thread or... I'm not sure. If it actually functions as an anti-fire shield, that would be the best use for it, I think. It works at Wyverns. Yes, it would definitely work at Wyverns because you can defend from Wyverns with an elemental shield. Which this is made out of. This isn't made with an anti-fire shield. So, I don't know.
I'd like to revisit this after the Inferno comes out and we see what's in it, because they did talk about how mage spells would
it might
be
actually be
useful
really good in the
inside.
Inferno.
It could be. That's what I'm thinking. I'd like to revisit it in the future for sure.
I think this item got a little bit too much hate initially, just because of
Just look at the numbers. They don't think about
how close it was. Yeah,
You look at the numbers without thinking about what the numbers mean.
Yeah.
the numbers, Mason.
What do they mean?
What do they mean? Yeah, I think people put just a little bit too much stock into what mage accuracy means. It's all about the percentage damage, people. That's what matters. But that being said, how would you guys feel if this did get lowered to like say plus 16 or plus 17? To me, like, I would look at that difference and be like, great, this makes a 0.0003 difference in DPS or whatever. Is how I would look at that. It's almost meaningless, really. That's how I look at it. What do you guys think about the spec on it, actually?
Never get used.
Yeah, never. Probably wouldn't use it unless like
I
you
don't
were.
know. So somebody's gonna make an account build. Someone's gonna have like a defense pure. Like, I'll whip this bad boy out. Well, how many magic levels can you get on defense pure?
Ask Shane.
Anyways, if you can get enough defense or magic levels on your defense pure to wield this thing, I don't know. Maybe might be pretty good actually. I don't know.
Lemonian, all I think is
cool.
All I think is that it doesn't bother me the way it is. Like, I'm not gonna say,
No.
it's. I'm not comparing it against the arcane is, to a certain extent, not that helpful. You kind of want to look at it for what the item is on its own.
The arcane's bonuses are just better, I think.
Yeah, and also there's just something to be said for viewing the item as what it is and not what it is compared to other stuff.
Yeah, the RuneScape community does that a lot. There's a new people want new items, but they don't want to be better than current stuff. But they want it to be useful somewhere, right? This is an item that is truly a niche item. I don't think the niche exists anywhere yet in the game, but it is a very niche item. And I think this is the kind of thing that's cool for the game. It's a niche item. It's actually useful. The stats are quite good, actually. This might be a desirable item for some people to get. I don't know for what, but there may be some desire for it. Other than the sick fashion scape, you know what this reminds me of? There was a really cool item in Guild Wars called the Draconic Aegis. And it kind of looked similar to this. It had like a dragon's head.
Can we, before we go any further, we were talking about, like, have you ever seen words written but never said them out loud or heard them out loud?
Yes.
The word you're looking for is Aegis.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it has more than one pronunciation.
I don't think so.
Aegis.
I've heard it pronounced Aegis and Aegis.
Aegis.
There's no
Aegis.
like g on the pronunciation of that word. Aegis or Aegis is correct.
I don't know. I think it's one of those words people are going to mispronounce.
Wouldn't this be
I've
the
never
Iron
heard any-
Man's Arcane, though?
I've never heard anybody say it that way but
Yeah.
you, Nigel.
I've heard other people say it. That's how I started saying it.
That is fair. That's a fair point, but I've never heard it. I'm pretty sure isn't it like an ancient Greek term for shield or something like that? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Aegis.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a really cool shield that had a dragon head on it. And it had like that similar shape. It was like a kite shield shape, which I think it looks much more attractive than the big ass tower shield square rectangle, the orange danger rectangle you got on your arm.
The
when you win
danger
DFS.
rectangle.
That's what it
Did
is,
the
man.
did Guild Wars have that before the Dragonfire Shield came into RuneScape? Like, which one copied the other?
I actually think I'm pretty sure Guild Wars had it first, actually. No, RuneScape had the DFS first. But it actually came out at very similar times.
Yeah.
Like actually quite similar.
I just
to
find
the
it
timeline.
interesting that they have it's like a very similar item.
Yeah.
idea.
Well, on the Guild Wars item, it doesn't have like a see-through shield, but it's like a blue colored shield. So it's actually like a solid shield. It's not see-through, but it's like a very similar shape and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. So for me, just like aesthetically, very pleasing item.
Mhm.
And I definitely want it in the game. I don't care what the stats are. I just kind of want it on my arm.
Same.
Bling.
How would you guys feel about like a mutagen-esque item for your DFS to change what it looks like to be in line with the helms?
You mean just like to change the color of my DFS?
Yeah, literally just change the color of it, completely cosmetic.
Well, the cool thing about the mutagens is they actually also changed the model.
Do they?
So
change
the model, is
a
slightly
little
different.
bit, and they also make it an untradable item.
Yes. I'm okay with cosmetics. Like honestly, like a lot of people have problems with cosmetic items for some reason. I don't. They're untradeable. They make no difference. They're cosmetic. It's just to look swag. So I don't know.
I don't
I'm
mind
down.
that, but you said like to keep it in line with the helms. Do you mean like actually to be used with the helm and match it, or do you mean just
Yeah, like same
that?
color scheme.
I
How
wouldn't want
often-
it from
like-
Zora.
How often do you use a DFS and a SERP helm at the same time?
Anytime you want max
KBD.
strength bonus and need a DFS. I don't know.
So KBD.
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 So
Pretty much it.
during one instance,
Oh,
which is
well,
a
well,
shit,
just
shit
show
without
boss.
an Ellie.
Let's just go to the idea of a cosmetic recolor of some sort for a DFS. Are we? How do you? Let's put it this way. How do you guys
Fair,
feel
yeah.
about like cosmetic recolors, remodels of items in game, like rare drops?
I'm cool with it.
I think that it really depends on how much it changes because like you said, the mutagen also changes the model. But I despise when pre-EOC.
Yeah,
or
people in
whatever,
chat say Bandos and Saradomin.
yeah.
It's actually good.
But when they changed, when they had the graphic overhaul for armor sets in EOC or whatever, that was fucking shit. Like I don't want to not be able to
Well,
recognize an item.
that one was mandatory. Wasn't
Right,
it?
right. I also don't want to not recognize an item somebody's wearing because of the cosmetic change to it.
Well, I mean, I would say you've never seen somebody wearing a Serp helm, like a different colored Serp helm, and be like, "Oh, what item is that?"
That's what I'm saying. I want it to be a
Although
minimal
with the
change.
malediction words, they look nothing alike.
That is
They're
I've
fucking
actually seen
ugly.
people like the malediction odium words.
The original
I've
ones
seen
are
people with
ugly,
the alternate malediction word, and I'm just like, "Whoa, what the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
The alternate odium is pretty. I cannot
Yeah.
stand the alternate malediction.
Really?
The alternate
Have you
odium word
seen
looks
it?
almost a lot like the twisted buckler in terms of
Yeah.
like color.
I like them both.
So sometimes I'll see the alternate odium and I'll be like, "Is that a buckler?" Oh, never mind.
I like them both.
Because like that bright color.
Can't stand it.
I think I agree that the alternate malediction looks weird, but I kind of like the odium.
I think that maybe you don't particularly like the design of them, but they both look better than the originals. The originals are just boring.
Yeah, they're just recolors. That was back before they had an artist. This is another, the fact that we have these ornamental kits in the game, they didn't just freaking change the models. If this was Jagex actually back in the day, you wouldn't have the kits. They would have just changed the model. It was just like, all right, we'll update the model.
Yeah.
This is one of those weird things that only happens because we have a polling system. The polling system makes so much weird stuff in this game. This game is like, I think we're going to look at this game a few years down the road and be like, why the hell is that in the game? Oh yeah, polls. I'm gonna like we're gonna look back and just be like, so why did we give like 10 different recolors to everything? Maybe that is a good point. Maybe we should chill with Recolorscape. Ornament
move on
kits
to,
available through microtransactions.
Now move on to the dev blog part about the underwater stuff.
Yeah, let's move on to the underwater stuff. You make a good point, Chase. All right, so this part I admittedly wasn't that excited about. I don't know about you guys, but underwater agility and thieving. The agility you'll encounter underneath the waters of Fossil Island is totally unlike the agility courses found on the rest of the world. I kind of raised my eyebrow at that statement, but okay. Is it just the fact that it's underwater, or is it still? Am I still just gonna be clicking shit and running in circles?
You'll be clicking shit and running in circles.
Okay, cool. So it's definitely just like a okay. Anyways, rather than running on a set court, you can run wherever you want. You'll get experience and skill as you go about your business underwater using the various shortcuts. So it isn't just running in circles then. Somebody should have read it a little closer. Me and you included. All right, thieving goes hand in hand with agility underwater. Rather than repeatedly thieving from the same NPC or stall as you might above the surface, you'll be running around and looting treasure chests as quickly as possible. So it sounds like it's like some sort of obstacle course, and you can do whatever you want in it, and you'll get decent XP rates no matter what you do. So is it? This makes you raise an eyebrow. This makes you go, right. Somebody's gonna figure out an efficient lap, and that's just what you're gonna do. Yeah. So it says on the tin that I don't know. Maybe it's gonna end up being like a hybrid course where you do both, and there isn't really an efficient route. But somebody's gonna figure out cycles or something. There's gonna be some way to set it up. So even though it says on the tin, that's not what it is. Somebody will figure something out, I'm sure. And it will just end up being running around in circles.
Yep.
So, right. The experience rate provided by underwater thieving is not comparable to any existing top methods. It will serve as an engaging, fun alternative, otherwise known as useless. No, realistically, the whole idea of Fossil Island is hybrid training methods. So this is a way that you can train thieving and agility simultaneously. People have brought up the fact that the Rogue's Den would be a really cool way if they updated and overhauled the Rogue's Den minigame to actually train thieving and agility simultaneously, because currently you get shit XP, and all you do is go get the Rogue's Kit and never come back to the place because it's awful. So rather than redesign that, just like, hey, why don't we just put an underwater agility course that does that in the game? Which I guess I'm okay with. It just depends on how good it is, right? That's always what this comes down to.
The only part of it that matters to me is what is the drop rate on the giant squirrel going to be? And will the giant squirrel drown if I get it down there? That would be a problem.
Funnily enough, if you get randoms whenever you're doing the underwater part of RFD, they get like a scuba helmet and shit.
Really?
Yeah, they have different models.
That's awesome.
They have special models with like scubas on and stuff.
I want the giant squirrel to have a little tiny scuba helmet on.
That would be cool.
That'd be
Rocky,
super cool.
with like a
Yeah.
scuba helmet on.
But his needs to be like a little bit scuffed up, like he's just found it in the trash because he's a raccoon. True to lore.
Oh, now we care about lore.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right. So, I mean, if this ends up being pretty cool, maybe it's good for like level accounts or something. I don't know. Like you said, I think it just whether players use this or not, it just depends on how useful it is, what the rate of the pets is, and stuff like that. But as the idea of underwater content, what do you guys think?
Meh.
I'm down for anything new, man.
I'll take
Try
a look at
anything
it.
once.
I'm not particularly excited about it.
I don't know. I think it would be interesting one day to maybe have the inevitable underwater town quest monster area.
We discover
thing.
Atlantis.
I'd like that. I would like to see a continuation of the Sea Slug quest line and have it be underwater.
That'd
The
be
Sea
cool.
Slug quest line continued pre-EOC though. Like that already existed.
Did it?
Another step to it, I'm pretty sure.
I never did it.
I think it did. Maybe I'm misremembering.
I don't know. Right. So do you want to talk about seaweed farming? I think this one is just for Iron Man mostly.
I'm hyped.
If this isn't being good, awesome. It says the seafloor surrounding the island is perfectly suited for farming seaweed. 23 farming, giant seaweed. Giant seaweed gives 2 soda ash when you burn it.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to know is, does it provide 2 soda ash if you use it with the spell? Because one of the cool parts of using the lunar spell, super glass make, is you don't have to convert it to soda ash. That I think is actually worth asking the J mods about. I don't know if anyone's asked that yet.
I don't know how they would implement that.
Yeah, I don't know either. This may be one of those things where they're like, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think it would.
Because actually cooking soda ash kind of takes forever.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it before. It sucks.
Yeah, it's not fast.
So
I don't know.
might have to ask one of the J mods about this one. Because I don't know how useful this is going to be for me if it ends up you have to actually convert it to soda ash. I don't think it'll be very useful at all to anyone. Because who wants to do that? Right. So that one's one to think about, I think. But the idea of farming seaweed, if it's pretty fast, I'm excited about.
It's like, again, this is a piece of content that only is going to appeal to Iron Man.
There's so many pieces of content that are like
I'm not saying it's a problem.
They're like, oh, that's exciting, that's cool, and Main's
Yeah.
just like,
I'm not saying it's a
No.
bad thing or it's a problem. I just don't care.
yeah, it's just so different. It's just such a different mindset. That's why
I'm
I like
not of the
playing Iron
opinion
Man.
that it's a bad thing to design content for Iron Man. I don't care. That's fine.
There are some people that are that way, and that pisses me off so much.
Oh yeah, those people are assholes.
They're like content for people that aren't me. Oh no.
Yeah. No, it doesn't bother
How
me in the
dare you.
slightest. I just do not care about this update.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of
Or
weirds
this
me out. that
particular
people
part
do
of
that.
this update. And then of course we have the one that makes the most sense, underwater fishing.
Yeah, that's something people actually do.
That's a given because there are fish down there.
Mm-hmm. They go spearfishing. But for this one, you use drift nets. Interesting. The setup left alone, catch passing fish as you might expect. Catching fish in this fashion provides hunter and fishing experience. So there's like a lot of like hybrid hunter methods,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is kind of interesting and kind of cool. It's a good use, I think, having more hybrid skills. It makes other skills more useful in ways that you might not expect.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I think this is cool. Or, of course, you can use a harpoon or a trident. You can use a trident to keep up
What?
and kill your prey on the move.
What? You can use a trident?
It says
Yeah.
chasing your prey using a harpoon or a trident.
Huh.
Interesting, huh? Your
I mean,
agility will come in handy.
It is
when
the
chasing-
trident of the seas.
It is.
Huh.
Shortcuts will certainly come in handy. Experience rates achievable with underwater fishing are not comparable to top methods, so it's not going to be best in slot fishing. Also, what slot do you equip fishing in?
I was gonna say that's weird
However,
phrasing.
they will offer you a chance to train another skill alongside fishing, hunter, agility. So you got to take your pick. Agility fishing, which we kind of already have. Barb fishing is a thing. Or you can take fishing hunter, which is not a thing yet. So I don't know. This
Fishing
may end up being kind of cool. I don't know what fish we're gonna get from it, but could be cool.
Yeah, worth a try.
Team K brings up a very good concern, which is there are fish underwater. What face? Yeah,
You
it's
don't
scary.
say.
It's spooky. There are fish down there, man.
I never
Be
would have
careful.
guessed.
Right. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the dev blog. What do you guys think overall for Fossil Island? Did you guys expect there to be more? What are you most excited about?
They're referring to it as like huge, like a huge place, I think. So, but I think that they've actually got a good number of different things. I'd say I'm pretty
actually
happy with the way it's turning out, actually.
I'm actually most excited about the fact that they're starting to do hybrid methods of scaling,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is cool. I'm very I think the concept of hybrid scaling is really cool, and I think there's a lot of design space there. They can do a lot of things with that.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
we've had this teased Fossil Island since RuneFest, so last September.
Yeah,
and we didn't know what to expect at all. And I think that the things that are going to be on it all seem pretty cool and seem like pretty creative ideas.
what I think is really awesome on Jagex for doing this, they're introducing it with a quest.
Mm-hmm.
Thank Christ.
Yes, I like that a lot. I'm very excited. I always want a new quest, and it seems kind of interesting to me that we've had multiple priority polls over the years of Old School's existence to ask people what they want to see the most, and quests have always been, they haven't been like super high priority, but they haven't been at the bottom either. They've been like relatively.
No, they've
like,
slowly been creeping up.
yeah, but even when
It's like
even
people
when
are
they
kind of
first
just
started
like,
doing them,
when's the next quest?
even when they first started doing the priority polls, I mean, I've been playing Old School since it came out, and people always kind of wanted more quests. They just never really got done. I guess because they were not sitting at the top of the priority polls, and we've only had one new quest added. I don't give a shit about the Halloween event that turned free to play quest. No, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
That's not a real quest.
We've only had one, and it's been 4 years, and I think people wanted more than one in 4 years. So that's a good thing.
I honestly, I would like to see 3 or 4 quests a year.
Yeah,
I think that's where it should be. I don't know. Like you look at like big content like raids and stuff like that. You're like, why wasn't this big awesome piece of content introduced with a sizable quest? You know, I know not everyone likes quests, but let's be real here. It's kind of lame to just introduce all the content of like, oh yeah, here you go do it. All you need are these numbers on your account, you know, stats or whatever.
It doesn't really keep it in line with the rest of the game, which is typically like the big things are locked behind quests.
Yeah.
All the coolest rewards and places to go have always kind of been like, yeah, you need to do some stuff to go there. There's some requirements. Like even like Godworth Dungeon, you needed to do the troll quest to access that area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a big requirement, but it makes sense. Like to be a part of the troll area, you need to progress the troll quest line. So I mean, that's why Zaya is so weird. I feel like they're going about Zaya the wrong way, which is they're just introducing the landmass and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna add the quest later. Don't worry, guys. It's like, no, that's not how that should work, right? Like for instance, you should have to do, in my opinion, the way Zaya should have been done, which is like it should have introduced, and favor for the houses should not have been a thing. There should have been an easy introductory 1 quest point quest for like, hey, here's Zaya, here's what's going on. And then each house has a medium length quest. It's like 2 or 3 quest points that you do to gain the favor, the trust of the house. And then to go on and do raids, it's like, all right, we all trust you. There's some big baddies over that way. Go take care of them.
That sounds more like what a different MMO would have done, actually. Because like
it sounds more like what RuneScape would have actually done years ago.
Yeah, I actually like that idea a lot. I mean, it's too late now, I guess, but I like
get what we have now.
I like that formula.
I mean, it's the formula RuneScape's always had, and it's one of the things that bothers me the most about Old School. Actually, is I personally really liked that formula. I know not everyone does. Not everyone's the biggest fan of quests, but personally, I feel like that's the way it was always done. Mm-hmm. You wanted the cool new thing, you probably had to go do a quest.
Yeah,
to get it. Like not always, but a lot of times, the new content was introduced.
Like we said last week.
Gate the progress.
And like we said last week, it's one of the things that makes RuneScape a unique MMO, because like a quest in a different game can be go and kill 10 boars and bring me back 10 boar skins. That's a quest.
Yeah.
But for RuneScape, the quests actually have a story and lore and things that you want behind them, and that I think that that's something that it would be a shame to lose.
Yeah, there are lots of items in the game that kind of have like hidden quest requirements. Like somebody mentioned in the chat, dark bows. Actually kind of hidden behind Morning's End Part 2.
Mhm.
You have to do Morning's End Part 2 to go do that. Or at least start it, I think, to access the dark beasts. Which means you have to do all the quests leading up to it. It has a bunch of things. It's always kind of been like to unlock areas of the game. There's a lot of areas of the game unlocked behind quests, you know. So it's just weird that Zaya's. On one hand, I understand they want to make their new content accessible. They want to make Zaya accessible to players because that's how they get players interested and on board with Zaya. It's like, hey, you can go do it. There's stuff to do here. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel that RuneScapey to me. And I'm glad that they're taking this direction of like, yeah, let's do more stuff with quests because that's the RuneScape I remember from when I was young.
Definitely.
All right. So, anything else we want to talk about? I'm out in the Fossil Island devlog.
No,
I think we
really.
should probably move on to the Q&A stuff that you guys have.
All right. Yeah, I've got some Q&A questions here, just a few. So if you guys want to start putting questions in the chat to ask us, Rob will take your questions. So just do @VorpalTongues and then whatever question you got, he'll write it down. So, latest Q&A, they talked about a few things, and these are the ones that stuck out to me. If you guys have any ones you want to talk about as well. But right, let's get into it. So basically how this section of the podcast works is we read off some questions that happened on Jagex's Q&A. So this happened yesterday. And we look at their answers and then we tell you what we think. So we're going to start with, can we decide how many Zulrah scales to put in an item rather than just putting in the whole stack? So their answer to this was, we could do that, but there would be an interface every time you wanted to do it. And it would be a pretty big change, and you can't toggle it on or off. It's just, if there's an interface, there's an interface. So what do you guys think about that?
I like that idea.
I'm indifferent.
I kind of think to myself, yeah. It doesn't really matter when you have a ton of scales. When you have lots and lots and lots of scales, you're like, whatever, check them all in there.
Right.
But when you have a small amount of scales and you have like a lot of different items and you want to split them up between the items, say like, oh, maybe I want to put 1,000 here, 1,000 there.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're juggling scales to
Yeah, it's weird because you have to like bank 1,000, put this amount in, then withdraw 1,000, then put 1,000 here. It's just, it's
yeah,
kind of weird.
I like that idea. I've kind of wanted that for a long time.
I don't know, but at the same time, when do you ever not need to go through the interface? Like when I'm trying to think of like how much problem the interface would actually cost. None, right? Like you're not usually trying to put scales into your stuff during combat, right?
No.
So what?
Yeah, you're pretty much at a bank.
Yeah, I don't ever see this really interrupting you.
No,
I don't
it's
see
not a
a
big
need
deal.
for it.
It's not a need. It's just a want.
Even then, like, are people that lazy?
It's not a matter of lazy. It's a matter of convenience. Call it a quality of life thing.
Yeah, because some people may just prefer the convenience of just no interface. I can kind of see both sides of this. Currently, not having an interface doesn't really bother me. It's only come up a couple times. I don't think it's a big enough ideal to, problem to warrant an update necessarily. But at the same time, if this change were introduced, it wouldn't really bother me.
Yeah.
The only thing I could see it for, like, actually being like a viable thing, would be for ultimate rather, where you don't have the option of banking your scales and withdrawing how many you want.
That's true. And
Like,
I imagine
otherwise,
it might be hard.
I don't imagine you're walking around with your scale stack like constantly, like,
No.
oh, well, time to put them in. How many should I do? Oh, well, I don't have a choice. Fuck me, right?
No, it doesn't
Like, if
happen.
you're
But
at a
I've
bank-
thought of this multiple times.
The only time it's ever come up for me
Before.
is when I had almost no scales. And I really needed to very carefully split how many scales I had between my items. Which is something you might run into on your Iron Man. But on a normal account, you're just like, fuck it, buy like 50,000 more scales. It's not a problem. Once again, it just seems like one of those things that like just doesn't really matter. It's such a small slice of the player base, right?
I
If
just
this
like
would
it for the
poll, do you think this would
convenience.
pass a poll?
Probably, but I think that Like I'd say that I'd like it, but if it was going to take up like a bigger chunk of the dev time than I was expecting, I'd say never mind because I don't think it's that important. But I have thought of this before multiple times while like buying a few thousand scales for my items. And I'm saying this as a main. Like I've thought that this would be nice. So if it wouldn't take that long, I'd like to see it.
I feel like, yeah, for Ultimate Iron Man, I feel like if it were an poll, I'd vote yes, just for the Ultimate Iron Man point of view, because I think this specifically is aimed at Ultimate Iron Man. They have more of a problem with the scales, I think, than anyone else. So I think for that reason, I'd vote yes. Hopefully, it would pass a poll if it comes to that. But if this doesn't come to the game, I don't really care. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent overall.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one is, can we have prayers saved on logout? Now, this was actually polled before. They said we polled it before. It failed. It would be useful for like God Wars Dungeon when you're hopping rooms or DKs.
DKs, yeah.
You have to hop there. So yeah, basically, if the players want it, sure, as the old saying goes. What do you guys think about this one? I think this one's actually pretty good. Because you do sometimes get crashed and stuff like that at God Wars Dungeon.
Or you DC.
Yeah, or DC.
I like that. I actually had an instance that I don't know if the worlds were being DDoSed, but I DC'd while streaming DKs, and the only thing that saved me from getting killed by Prime when I logged back in was very quickly using the teleport on my Maxscape from the gear tab. And it would be really nice if I had logged back in with Mage Prey on.
Yeah, I mean, one time I world hopped at Armadillo, and I had to like cross my fingers that I didn't just get smacked a 70 and a 30 right when I world hopped, you know? Because those of you guys who have never accidentally dropped your range prayer or taken off range prayers at Armadillo, he can hit a 71 with his ranged attack. It's pretty nasty. I mean, I don't really know how often people have to hop worlds at Arma, but you know, any of the God Wars Dungeon bosses are pretty spooky if you got a world hop. There's potential to just get your ass beat. Gerardo's in the wrong part of the room when you world hop. Too bad. Time to go get KC again. Yeah, Popo just said got KO'd at Bandos when I hopped. Yeah, it happens. So for that reason, I actually think this would be. I would actually like this. And I'm surprised actually that this failed a poll. I don't know when this poll was, but
yeah, I
it
don't
did
even
fail a
remember
poll.
it.
It must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, I'd like it.
I'd like it.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. I don't think they straw polled this one, but I'm curious to see how many people actually support this one. So let us know what you think in the chat. I'd like to hear from you
What
guys.
are those updates with? I mean, what's the downside?
The downside is it's easier to hop worlds and crash people.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's kind of the big downside. And also, it's easier to hop worlds in the wilderness and not get KB'd or whatever, I guess. What if it were disabled in the wilderness? Actually, I'm not. Well, maybe. Does the game save your coordinates upon logout? I guess it has to, right?
I don't know.
It does, because that's how it determines.
Yeah, it has to know where to put you in.
Oh,
the
yeah,
game.
of course.
Not only that, but like they already take away like the opening screen thing when you're in the wilderness.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, so they could do that. They could just take it away in the wilderness.
Mhm.
They already have that modifier. They already know how to do that. I personally don't care if you can have your prayers on or off when you're in the world. Wouldn't it be nice to just always have protect item on when you're hopping worlds in the wilderness?
That would be
Yeah.
cool.
I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I want this one. I want it in the game. All right, let's move on to the next one. So in line with more quests, I love quests. Can we get a Dragon Slayer 2 quest and an expansion to Legends Guild? And they were just like, yeah.
Sounds cool.
To which then I say, thank you, Jagex.
Yeah.
More
I'm down for
quests,
that.
please.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would love the Legends Guild to actually be useful.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a place that it's so built up and locked behind two majorly pain in the ass quests, and you don't use it for anything.
Legends Quest is probably, I think it's one of the coolest quests in the game. It's also one of the biggest pain in the asses in the game.
It's both very
But-
cool and horrible.
It was the last like big thing they put in RS Classic. I remember when they added this to the game. Like I was actually playing when they put the Legends Guild in the game, and you would see people at the Legends Guild. You're like, holy shit, that dude's a badass. And that's when you got like the Dragon Square Shield and everything like that. And that's best in slot in Classic.
They were
You know,
both
like-
best in slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like Legends Guild used to be a huge deal. Like even when RS2 just released, it was awesome, and you'd see people at the Legends Cape, and it was cool. So I would love the Legends Guild to actually mean something again. So I'm all for, you know, buffing the Legends Guild and another quest, that sort of thing. Legends Cape was the RuneScape Classic quest cape. That's pretty much what it was. That's how you were a certified big dick baller if you had that if you had that cape, basically.
The Super
yeah, it
Legends
was
Guild.
Legends Guild.
Mega Legends
Mega Legends
Guild.
Guild. Ultra.
Giga Legends Guild. So yeah, I'm down. What would you guys do what do you guys think would happen during Dragon Slayer 2?
Slay some dragons.
Okay, well, like what kind of dragons? What are we talking here?
Big dick baller dragons.
Slay one ohm.
He's a salamander.
Yeah, he's not technically a dragon,
No.
although the Dragon Hunter
That's
Chronicle
true,
works
it
against
does.
him. The Bigly Legends Guild. It's huge. Huge guild. Move the Legends Guild to Apatol, make it Monkey Madness 3. That's actually they were asking like if you could make one quest in the game, what would it be? And Kieran said Monkey Madness 3. It's like, all right, let's go. But one of the other guys mentioned Dragon Slayer 2, and
That'd be cooler, I think.
I think having a new Dragon Slayer.
I'd like it.
Yeah, I like it. I like that idea a lot.
All right, and here's the last one I had. It's, can we have an option for vials to be destroyed after the last dose? They said
I'd like that.
yes. Maybe on the GE guy, it's like a toggle. You could have the guy who decants potions. You could toggle it with that guy. This I think is super cool because I got used to this during raids. It's awesome in raids. You chug your potion, it's just fucking gone. Like
Yeah,
I
I
don't
do
have to
like
drop
that.
it.
I do like that a lot.
So nice. Who wants to keep their fucking empty vials anyways? No one. Nobody keeps them. They cost like two. It costs like 2 GP.
Actually,
Okay.
I feel like that meme, like the comic, or like people have been putting the emojis in the chat. They're like, actually, you seen
Actually.
that? Yeah, I actually have like 80 or 90,000 empty vials in my bank.
Why? Let me look at how many I have. I'm actually at a bank right now. I currently have. Oh yeah, I've got 16,000 empty vials. Right now.
Yeah, so you're like, who does that? Oh, I do.
Because you just deposit all or whatever.
Yeah, I have them from when I did 99 Herblore because I did Super Combat, so all the superset vials just went to my bank.
It's from decanting, is why I have mine.
Mm.
All the decanting you do, you just deposit all.
Yep.
Yeah, I only have 1,300 water filled vials. I need to go buy some more of those. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Every time I take potions with me when I go somewhere, they never come back with me. The only reason I have empty vials is because decanting. Yeah, I'd be down for this. I would totally vote
Yeah,
yes. Quality of
good.
life. Praise the Lord. Yeah, it's RS3 feature rounds too. It says they put it in for raids. It's nice. You know what? It's nice.
Mhm.
If you don't like RS3's features that are nice, you don't like nice things, and you're not nice.
This is why we can't have nice things.
We can't have nice things because RS3 has nice things.
And fuck them.
Yeah, it's like the game's lame. Oh, there's some pretty nice stuff. No, it's lame.
RS3 is
Okay.
not my real dad.
All right. Yeah. So, did you guys have anything on the Q&A that you want to talk about, or?
Not really.
No.
All right, cool. Let's move on to stuff from the chat. You got it, Rob?
I do. We have several questions here, as
All right,
well
let's do
as
it.
2 Twitter questions. Which would you like to get to first?
Let's do the Twitter questions. I think they're from the same person, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let me open up my phone here. With hearing that Fossil Island is going to be, oh my god, I'm nearly dead. It's going to be massive.
Hardcore Iron Man 2.0.
Yeah, dude. Do you guys think it should get a diary at some point? Zaya as well.
Well,
So do
Fossil
we
Island
want-
Diary.
Yeah.
I don't think Fossil Island is maybe big enough to warrant a diary.
I mean, they
I would
described
agree.
it
Because
as
we don't have
huge.
we don't have like a lunar diary, do we?
No.
Nah.
Just part of the Fremennik diaries. I don't know, maybe. It kind of already sort of has the diary thing going on with the kudos and You
Yeah.
gotta get more kudos to do more stuff. It's kind of already got the diary feel, and you get the one-off rewards and everything. I don't think we need one for that.
No.
But for Zaya, yeah, they've already they've already expressed that they want to do one. They just want to finish all the Zaya stuff first.
Yeah.
Which for the diaries, I think makes sense. For quests, fuck that. You should have put the quest in ages ago.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
the diaries, that does make sense that they want to wait.
Zaya Diary, I'm looking forward to. Fossil Island one, I think I agree with Nigel. Like it, I don't know if it would make much sense, but I wouldn't be upset if they wanted to do one.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm personally not for it. His follow-up question is also, shouldn't the finishing of existing quest lines be a major priority over adding new original content?
I think the answer to that is not necessarily. It
Yeah, not
depends
necessarily.
Yeah.
on the quest
That being
lines
said,
and what people
The
want.
nostalgia is huge
Hmm.
for, doing stuff with existing content because we know it, we love it, it's close to us. You do the quest, it has hints and nods to other stuff you've already done. You're like, oh, that's cool. Like when I was doing Monkey Madness 2, I was just doing the quest and I thought to myself, we got to like the little section on the boat, and I thought to myself, this is just like the tanker section in Metal Gear Solid 2. That's really cool that they did this. So I don't know. There's cool stuff that you can do with interesting things we can do with content we already have. But that being said, that shouldn't limit the dev team from adding new stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like totally new stuff. Because they get to go in a direction that they're not limited in terms of design. Because like if they're gonna do a Monkey Madness 2, it's gotta have monkeys. It's gotta be on Ape Atoll. There's these limitations. And working within limitations can be good, but sometimes you want to do something very different. Like they couldn't have freaking added Olm to Ape Atoll, you know what I mean? They could, but it would be weird.
Yeah, I think that if they could find a balance of old quest lines and new content, I think that'd be really cool. But I don't think that they should let the fact that they are not currently finishing old quest lines stop them from producing new content, because that would just be a good way for us to stagnate for not a good enough reason.
I think this question is usually leveled at Menaphos and Prifdennus. Usually that's what they're trying to say.
I mean, it applies to a lot of different quest lines, but
Yeah.
it
Well, I mean,
depends
like,
on the
notably-
quest too.
Well, we also don't have the vampire area. Like we've got big cliffhangers in the game. We've got Elf questline, big cliffhanger. Menaphos questline, big cliffhanger. Vampire questline, cliffhanger. Monkey Madness 2, technically there could be a Monkey Madness 3. I don't
I just
there's I don't know.
it has to depend on what quest line you're talking about as well, because like Monkey Madness 2 is way more exciting to think about than like another quest in Morton. It really depends on the area and like the lore of the quest that you're trying to finish the storyline of, I think.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was like,
I
oh
would
yeah,
like
we're
to
doing
see
another
them
Shades of
tie
Morton
up
2, I'd be like, fuck no.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see them tie up those storylines if just to fill in the areas of the map. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, RS3 has done that stuff, and they've said they don't want to just rehash RS3 quests. And they also don't want to divert from the RS3 lore for those areas. So they're kind of like,
Yeah.
either they have to say, right, we're just going to throw RS3 lore out the window, or they would spend time rehashing quests you've already done if you did them on RS3. So I don't know. I'm okay with them exploring places we haven't been to.
Yeah.
That being said,
More
I
fun, I
do
think.
want them to fill in those areas eventually. I'm just not sure what the answer is for them.
Mhm.
All right, you got another one, Rob?
Yep. Impressions of the 2 new J mods since they were just unveiled yesterday.
Mod Stone looks like it could be an actor.
Which JMod is it? Is Stone the marketing guy?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
one that looks like Ice Poseidon's brother.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Looks like it could be an actor.
I was trying
yeah.
to remember which was which. No, yeah, they seem like they'd be a good fit for
Yeah,
the team.
I like them.
Interestingly, I've seen people look at the marketing guy and said like, oh, we don't need another community manager. He's marketing. He's the community manager. Like, Come on, man.
That's dumb.
I saw somebody say that on Reddit. I was like, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, no, they seem like a good fit.
They seem cool. Like, yeah, they've been playing the game for a long time. Their perspective is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, well, didn't one of them say 12 years or something?
Yeah. Mod Rise been playing the same amount of time as me.
Yeah. I hope you played in Classic, man.
They seem like me, guys.
Yeah, I like them.
I'm excited to have them on. I mean, I hope the old school team continues to grow and we get more awesome content more quickly. You know.
Can't wait for all the fake Twitter accounts based on them. New mods.
Oh yeah.
New phishing scams.
Oh man, people have already made ones with just like names that aren't even related to the new J mods. They're like, hey, I'm the new J mod. Like Maz had to tweet something out about it. You know.
Yeah, it was like mod Jagex Ethan or something. It was like.
Yeah.
It's like just people's names.
Jagex Bradbury.
Okay.
You know, drop a Bradbury on the Q&A.
Yeah, this guy's name, his RSN is mild.
Holy shit! I just got a 990 XP drop at Neck
Are you
Reels.
barraging?
Yeah.
Dang, dude. Wait, you're barraging Neck Reels in the middle of the podcast? Holy crap!
Yeah, I am, and I'm also
Impressive.
fishing
I'm
still
just
on my Iron Man.
man.
I'm still multi-logged as
Wow.
well.
Sick.
Yeah, my task's almost over.
It's impressive, Chase. All right, what do you got for us?
Now this one actually requires a good bit of thought. Who closes the bus door after the bus driver gets off?
The bus driver does.
Yeah.
There's a button on the outside next to the door.
Yeah, you can close the door
then.
from the outside, dude.
Yeah. It's a
Now
funny
you
question.
know.
Like, never looked at a bus closely?
It's a funny
Or-
question for like 4 seconds until you're like, well, there's a button.
You're like, clearly he closes it. Come on.
Unless it was a very
Actually-
poorly designed bus. That's how it works.
No, here's how it goes. There's actually your parents don't tell you this when you grow up, right? But there's actually a bus ferry.
Yeah.
And the bus ferry, at the end of the day, when all the bus drivers go home, the bus ferry comes by and closes all the buses, or else the buses would never close. So there you go.
The bus ferry makes sure that hobos don't sleep on the bus.
Yeah, that's actually what it's for.
The bus ferry doesn't like hobos.
Because ferries hate homeless people. That explains so much about the ferry quest line in RuneScape.
You know what's cool? I edit these podcasts so I can edit out the fact that I just snorted just now. That's cool.
That's
Can't-
cool.
I can edit that out.
Somebody Twitch clip that.
Don't do it. Don't.
It wasn't my question, Tom. Like, I'm well aware of how buses work. It was asked, so I asked it.
The tiny weak ass punk motherfucker ferry.
Oh, that brings up a good point. The ferry quest line also isn't finished.
Yeah,
I
actually,
forgot about that one.
but it was continued again on RS3 already, wasn't it?
True. Did you guys know that Xenaris is actually the moon?
Yep.
Yes, I forgot about that. It's Gilnor's
That's
moon.
weird, isn't
I
it?
love
That's
that.
weird to think
It's
about.
so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like
You're
that a lot.
actually traveling with moon magic.
Moon fairies.
Now you're
They're-
thinking with portals.
the fairies are aliens.
They are. They're actually aliens.
Yeah,
That's why everything's alien there, because it's a different planet.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Sometimes RuneScape does some stuff you're like, Xenaris is weird. Then you're like, yeah, it's because it's a moon. You're like, wait, what?
I like how it's the moon, but it still has like a random event that happens where a group of humanoids just follow you and pester you for no reason.
Well, yeah, but they all have like shaved heads. They're not gonna cult.
Are you saying that everybody with a
And
shaved
they wear
head
like
is an
no,
alien?
they wear like purple. They wear like purple robes too, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Maybe they're just Ice Poseidon fans.
You're saying Jordan's an alien because he has a
Yes.
bald head.
He's also Canadian, so he's definitely an alien. An illegal alien. A snow alien.
The snow Mexican.
Also, I just got 78 woodcutting. GZ me.
GZU.
Not iron, not relevant.
I am Iron. It's in my
You
name.
sure?
I'm pretty sure. Have I lost my Iron Man status? No, I'm still an Iron Man.
It's actually a choir. Oh yeah, it's the Zenaris choir.
It is
that's
a
what
choir. Yeah.
But they still don't. They don't sing. They just come up and pester you.
They look like cultists though. Like,
Yeah.
Come on. They're in Ice Poseidon's fan club. That's what they're.
Okay.
The Purple Army Choir. That's right.
Do you think Jagex will advance Mortania questline? Probably at some point. Like we already kind of just touched on
Maybe.
this a good bit.
I hope they do.
I do as well.
I hope it doesn't require you to spend a lot of time in the swamp though, or in Mare Ditch.
Oh god, it will. I assume you will spend some time in Mire
no.
Ditch. Hopefully they add some sort
Yeah.
of shortcut to get through Mire Ditch.
Adam, you gotta remember all of that shit.
Holy crap.
Just make it so you can fly.
Do you guys remember doing Darkness of Hollowvale?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
quest blows.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's one of the worst quests in this game.
Yeah.
I think that one and what is the one you got to do all the crap with the cats?
Rat
Rat
catchers.
catchers?
Yeah.
That quest can suck a dick.
Those two quests are the two worst quests I think in old school.
Mhm.
And rat catchers only sucks because the cat mechanics in this game are bad.
And because the guard catch mechanics are really, really.
Yeah, the
Really
guard catching
sensitive.
mechanic is really lame.
Mm-hmm.
It's always my favorite when I'm trying to catch a rat and I'm like, all right, catch a rat. Okay, try again. No, you got it this time, buddy. I believe in you.
Yeah, I believe
Do it again. Practice makes perfect. You'll get it one day.
You were a
Fluffy.
terrible cat.
And then you're just like, God damn it, catch it. Oh, did you guys cat
Sell it
die?
for death runes later.
Did you what, Nigel?
Did your cat die during that quest? Mine did.
I don't
No.
think so.
Yeah, I actually DC'd during one of the fights, and my cat died. So that was fun.
Hmm.
The part where you gotta catch, or you gotta kill the king rat. So I had to do that part with the kitten, which was not very fun. Yeah, I loved that quest. That quest is great.
Yeah, I'd rather do Morning's End Part 2 again than Rat Catchers.
I would actually. Map 2 was not that bad. Actually, that Map
No.
2 was pretty cool.
And I like the
I
design. Yeah, the
enjoyed
design
it.
of it's very cool.
Yeah, just like as a quest and as a puzzle, cool quest.
It's well made.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass to do, but
Rat Catchers is not well.
it's
made.
cool. Like I look back on doing Map 2 and I'm like, yeah, that was cool.
Mhm.
I look back on doing Rat Catchers, I was like, fuck that quest.
Yeah, it's like, hey, cool design, or hey, I still kind of want to cut myself.
Same with
Yeah.
Darkness of Hollow Veil. I'm like, man, that was a waste of 2.5 hours of my time.
If they
Oh.
didn't make you go through the maze more than once, it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, that's the problem with that
if
quest.
you go back and forth. Can you imagine doing Darkness of Hollowvale without a guide?
Well, like on day of release? Nah.
That
Nope.
would have been rough.
I did Monkey Madness with that guy. Did you guys? Monkey
The
Madness
second
Part
one?
2, rather.
Yeah, I did.
Monkey Madness 2.
Yeah, I did it as soon as it came out.
I did not because I couldn't kill Kruk on day one. So I rage quit the
Right.
quest.
Yeah, I did it on day 2 because I wasn't able to play during the release for whatever reason.
I did it on day
Um,
one, didn't realize that you could save spot Kruk and almost died.
I did die.
Yeah.
I lost one of my like 4 glories at the time, and I was super pissed because I was in the middle of a crafting grind.
Mm-hmm.
Like losing those 4 charges was a big deal.
Oh, Usopp brings up a good question. Darkness of Hollowvale without a guide or Mep 2 without a guide? Which one would you rather do? I think
Mep 2.
having done Mep 2 before, I think I'd rather do that one without a guide.
Probably. Yeah, I think
If-
so.
If I hadn't done either one before, I would rather do Mep 2 just because I find it to be a much more enjoyable experience in terms of like the puzzle aspect. I really enjoy puzzles. I don't enjoy running through that fucking maze.
Yeah, the light puzzle, as you start to do the light puzzle, you kind of just like figure it out as you go along. You're like, I kind of just stopped looking at the guide at a certain point.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I know what to do. Darkness
Starts
of
to make
Hollowvale,
sense, yeah. You're never really gonna get your bearings in Hollowvale.
because of how like the floors work and like you can't see the agility obstacles easily, and it's just there's so many like hidden little things. Like go look at the quest guide and they'll be like, oh, click this thing. You're like, where the fuck is
Yeah, I
that?
know.
And, like everything
It's
is
like
so small
embedded
and
in the
hard to click.
wall.
Whoever designed that quest was evil. Right.
Sadistic.
It's like the same person who designed Underground Pass. He's like, this'll get him. Also, rip the unicorn.
Mm.
Or unicorn. Somebody's gonna type spoilers. Shut up, you've done Underground. Right. Do we have another one, Rob?
I do have one more. Give me
Okay,
one second here to not fucking die at wintertime. It
Meanwhile,
is again
Chase
about
like,
advancing a
playing killer
quest
cannons.
line.
Again, really.
A lot of quest related questions. Though.
Yeah. All right. So this one is: how do you feel about an underground pass 2 with an arrow slot reward specifically for crystal bow? Be a slight buff to an iconic item and sequel to an iconic quest. I like the idea. Personally, there's already a sequel to Underground Pass 2. It was Underground Pass. It was Regicide, and Regicide went into what was it, Roving Elves, and then Roving Elves and Morning's End. And
I think we should just interpret that as, do you want a continuation of the Elf Quest line?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I wouldn't mind that.
To which that I say, yeah, totally. As for the reward, this has been making the rounds on like Reddit and just social media in general. The
Crystal Quiver.
buff to the crystal bow,
Mhm.
the crystal quiver thing. I also think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I like it.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. They also continued on Rs3. Ooh,
That's okay.
Lord,
That's-
no.
Pretty much it though, in terms of questions.
Yeah, actually, Crypt asked, he asked a question. He said, on that subject, what is your favorite quest?
Huh.
For me, it's Legends, actually. I actually really like Legends.
Oh god.
Yeah, because it's so iconic for me. I played during Classic.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
so fuck that quest.
Legends meant a lot. And also, it has that old quest design. I think it's like the pinnacle of that old style of quest design that it had. You know, lots of skill checks, lots of items, weird stuff that you don't really use anywhere else.
Yeah, I think Monkey Madness
it's
2
cool.
has got to be up there with my favorites. I really enjoyed that quest, and I was impressed with how little time, like, they busted that quest out. Like, they said they were going to make it in a few months. They made it in a few months, and it was really good.
And it was great.
Yeah, I think probably Monkey Madness 2.
Mine would be Monk's Friend.
That's the one where they like throw the party for you, right?
Yeah.
Because you went and like cut a couple trees for them.
One of the most underrated quest endings in the
You're
entire
like, hey man,
game,
I'm gonna
man. I
cut you
love
some
it.
trees. Here's some water. Can we go have a party now?
Yeah, dude.
Bring out the bitches. Where's the strippers at? Time to celebrate.
Oh yeah, the monks have strippers. Okay.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, for
They live
including
a celibate
pre-EOC,
lifestyle.
Ritual of the Majrat was actually a really cool quest.
Yeah. There was a lot of very cool quests.
Yeah.
What was it While Gothic Sleeps?
I really enjoyed that
That
one.
quest was badass. What was the one that got you Karasi?
Oh, that was the
I
pest
don't-
control finale.
Yeah, it was a pest control related
Yeah.
one.
You actually had to play like a strategy game, like a tactics game to
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did any of you play a game called, it was another browser game around the same time that I was addicted to RuneScape called Tactics Arena. Anybody play that?
Never even heard of
Never heard of it? Oh my god.
I played Tower Defense.
No, it's different. It's like the
Void Stares Back, that's what it's called.
Tactics
Yeah.
Arena is heavily reminiscent of the Void Stares Back quest, because you had a board and you had like pieces, so to speak, that had a certain function, that had a certain distance that you could walk, like a number of tiles, a certain attack value, and like it just Tactics Arena was like that type of game, but like better, better, well fleshed.
So it was like
It was
War
good.
Machines, but without paying like $10,000 for little figurines that you put in your room.
Yes, it was actually really cool. I was addicted to it for a short time. It also like came with a chat room, like you could just talk to whoever you were fighting against.
I would
And,
shit talk so hard.
Yeah. Honestly, I had forgotten about that game until just now. It was actually really cool.
Uh-oh. I just tried to use sticky keys. My keyboard did not like that. Streams just gonna be what faces, but I tried to use mouse keys to bank some items. Whoops.
So do we have a sign off for this week?
Oh, we didn't think about the sign off, did we?
I didn't know.
Not at all.
All right, we'll take we got another question from Tana Blade. Rob, you think about that quick. Says, do you remember Ars Classic dueling where you wanted to kill people you shouldn't have been able to kill for fun? Oh yeah, when you fought people, they were forced into combat for 3 turns in Ars Classic.
Before they could run away.
You couldn't run. They had like this
Right.
concept of running away from combat, right?
Yep, I remember
So
that.
like you traded hits back and forth for 3 combat turns before you could run away.
Mhm.
And oh my god, there used to be a huge thing, like PKers having like 3 hit you, bro, or stuff like that. Because you couldn't eat either. You could only eat when you were out of combat.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, dude, Ars Classic was a way different game. It was actually spooky. people just own you, and there's nothing you could do about it really. And that's why peers were so OP. People
You could
like,
also
99
stake
strength, low
against
combat.
somebody anywhere, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could duel anywhere.
Yeah, you could like duel and kill somebody
yeah.
in Lumbridge and take their stuff.
I read the sign off.
All right.
All right. Have both of you seen the show Friends?
Yes.
Very casually.
Like
Do I need to have
Joey,
seen a lot of it?
Chandler, all those weirdos.
Yeah.
Rachel, Phoebe,
Monica,
Yeah.
Rachel, Phoebe.
Okay. Fuck, marry, kill. Monica, Rachel, and Phoebe.
All right, all right.
Huh. Well, who is the really annoying blonde one?
That's Phoebe.
Yeah, she dies. She's got to die. Just saying.
She's great.
No, she's dead. She's dead.
Okay.
Totally.
All right.
who-
so, yeah, I think I have to. I think I have to agree with Nigel and kill Phoebe.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you guys?
She's funny, but I think I would kill her.
Rob is like, no, you're killing my wife.
I would. I would marry her.
He's like, I have a Phoebe body pillow.
Oh my god. He puts it right next to his Naruto headbands.
We were
His
more than
mouse
just
pad.
friends, okay?
Yeah,
I'll
I would.
be there for you.
I would kill
man.
Phoebe. Fuck Monica, marry Rachel.
Is Rachel the black-haired one?
Rachel is Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Chase's choices then. Yeah,
And Rob?
I'm on board. Chase has made good decisions.
Yeah.
I would kill Monica. I would fuck Rachel and I'd marry Phoebe.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I'd have a lot of fun marrying Phoebe. She seems like very fun person. Not a fan of Monica, and I get to fuck Jennifer Aniston. So,
Or you
like,
could
where's the
marry Jennifer
downside?
Aniston and fuck her for the rest of your marriage. That's the right decision.
no,
Yes.
You know that's not how marriages go, Kappa.
it's not.
So basically, the choices are fuck Jennifer Aniston once,
or
or fuck Jennifer
or-
Aniston once and be married to her too.
Basically.
it's pretty much the choice. Because you have to kill the blonde-haired one. She's just too annoying. Oh man. It seems chat has strong opinions on this one, actually.
I like how everybody in the chat is posing it as fact, though.
Yeah.
You guys all think that your opinion is fact. Knock it off. I'll accept your opinion on it, but you better accept mine too. Fuck off.
No, your opinion's wrong.
That's what some people are saying.
All right. Chase, are you gonna go live after this? Because I would like to host
I'm
you.
actually probably not going to.
Yeah, because this is like 9 o'clock for you now.
It's 9. It's also supposed to be my day off, and I still have a lot of editing that I wanted to do, so I'm just gonna do that.
Alrighty, well, let's take a look at who we're going to host, but I think that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed the RFD podcast number 9. So I don't think number 8's up on YouTube yet, but if you want to, you can go check that out on Chase's channel.
Yeah.
So that's Tripwire Gaming on YouTube, I believe.
Yes.
So that's where that'll be. And this one will be up later as well. So I'm going to go look for a host, and I'm going to play some music while we do that.
Yeah. And also,
Not
so don't
sure
forget
who we're gonna
to
host.
follow us all on Twitter, or not on Twitter, Twitter too, but mostly Twitch. Don't forget to follow us all on Twitch. We all stream RuneScape many days a week when we can.